Hello, listening people.
Hello.
You're listening to Spit and Polish Presents Unappreciated Masterpieces. I'm one of your hosts, Rad Slawinski.
And I'm one of the other there's only one other host, Bartek.
Bartek, how are you?
Good, I can't burp.
Can't you?
No.
Is that a true trivia fact?
True trivia trivia.
You also can't speak English this episode, but that's okay,
That's a rye.
because we are Spit and Polish, likingly because we are always spitting, and we are both Polish. Is that not right, Bartek?
Well, Ryan's not really that Polish of a name, but I think you are.
Slawinski's pretty Polish.
Yeah, Śliwiński.
Yeah. And,
Means plum.
Yes, it does, I guess. I don't know.
Śliwki.
I don't know. I have to take your word for it, Bartek, because on this show, it's called Unappreciated Masterpieces, a show about me taking your word for it. No, it's really a show in which we talk about movies. Movies that deserve more conversations. Movies that, well, they're not the complete bottom 100, but they're not the top 100 either. They're the movies that people go, I remember that, or I might have heard of that, or what's that movie? They're the movies I think deserve more love. Well, not just I, you as well, and, well, God. I don't want to bring the big guy into this, but he said to me, Ryan and Bartek, you guys need to talk about these movies in audio commentary fashion.
Wait, so he said to you, Ryan and Bartek?
Yeah, he said, Ryan and Bartek.
So you have to pass it on to me.
Because he's that kind
and
of...
then I'll have to take your word for it.
Well, you're kind of like my disciple. You have to take my word for what God said.
All right. What have you done that's worth following you for?
I created a podcast called Spit and Polish Presents.
And I taught you how to podcast.
There you go. So, Bartek, we're going to be talking about a movie today in an audio commentary fashion. But what is the movie? I don't know. I haven't read the episode name.
Hold on.
I'm in the episode. I can't read the name of the episode.
Wait, did you say audio?
Commentary.
So all the dancing I've been doing this whole time is not getting in?
No. No. Unless you added some noises into it. No, they can't see it.
I wasn't doing the
God can see it.
I wasn't doing the clap or stomps or anything, so there was no noises.
Sorry. I'm sorry, man. No one's seeing your dance moves. Are we doing a dance movie? Finally. We're doing a dance movie. I've been waiting for this for so long. Are we doing your...
Well, Soul Man had dancing.
Yeah, are we doing one of the dance movies? I can't remember any of their names, you know. You got served.
Dance 1, Dance 2?
Yeah, the dance movies.
No.
Are we doing Dance Academy, the movie? Finally.
Actually, Ryan,
Finally, I love that series.
Actually, Ryan, we are doing Evan Wszechmogancy.
What was that?
Oh, you didn't hear?
No, I heard, but I want to hear it again.
It's always great when you have to say it a second time because you put so much effort at the first time. The film is Evan Wszechmogancy.
Oh, yes, Evan Czechmaganzi. I don't
Look,
know.
here's the... Can you not read?
I cannot read Polish.
Try to read this.
Evan Czechmaganzi. I heard you say it clear as day.
It sounds like you said check my Gandhi.
Evan, check my Gandhi. That would
Okay.
be a great movie. Evan, check my Gandhi. Hello, it's me, Gandhi.
I can tell it was Gandhi because you said it's me, Gandhi.
But hey, Evan has to check that. That's the whole movie.
Oh, I'm a foolish film viewer.
So, Bartek, you're speaking in Polish because we are both spitting Polish. Because I'm
Likely
Polish.
yeah.
But I don't speak the language. I know. Your booty don't need explaining, you know, as Jason Derulo would have once bravely stated, but I don't speak other language. What is it that we are watching?
If your booty did need explaining, what kind of words would you use? Like
Polish, I would imagine.
Evan Wszechmogancy is actually...
Check my Gandhi, yeah?
Evan Czechmagandy is actually the 2007 film Evan Almighty.
Evan Almighty from 2007.
All the Mighties.
Is that the sequel to Bruce Almighty from whatever year that came out?
2003, was it?
Yep. I will take your word for it.
I know it was much earlier in the decade.
It had Jim Carrey in it, and I remember seeing that one in the cinema. So there you go. Fun fact, I saw Bruce Almighty in the cinema, but we'll get to my Evan history after we introduce the guest.
To answer your question, yes.
Yeah, good.
It is the sequel/spin-off.
Good. The expanded universe of Bruce Almighty. So, Bartek, we have a guest.
You do?
They've been sitting here patiently.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to hint at the idea that the guest is a deity of some sort.
Their name's not Patience, but you said they're sitting patiently.
They're sitting patiently. They're not a god. maybe they are God. Who knows?
Maybe they're a goddess.
Oh, you don't want to...
Like the plural gods.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Who is it? Who is it sitting beside me?
Ladies and listening people. Don't want to...
Yeah, you don't want to,
I want to use our vernacular.
You don't want to exclude the pets that are listening.
Oh,
to
no,
the
I don't
show.
care about exclusion. Fuck other people. I'm just talking about, I need to call them listening people.
What about pets?
No,
They're not people.
well, they need to be listening people. I don't
Okay.
care if they're men, women, animals, cows, whatever.
Cows
Cows are not animals. Our guest today is not Morgan Freeman as the actor in this film that plays God. It is the wonderful Caitlin Wiley.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi, Caitlin.
I might be Morgan Freeman. You don't know.
Oh,
We are all
I guess I was
Morgan.
assuming.
We are all Morgan Freeman on the inside.
And also, Bartek, I loved the pliés. Fabulous pliés.
The what?
The dancing.
Oh, thank you.
I was present.
She saw them.
I like
He
presents.
doesn't speak dance. He dances dance. So you guys,
I like
have
the
to-
word boogaloo.
electric style. So you guys at home have to get your copy of the film Evan Almighty from the year of our Lord 2007, because you're going to have
Kevin Rudd.
Kevin Rudd, the Prime Minister of Australia at the time. Yes, that is correct.
Kevin 07.
We should mark every year by what Prime Minister of Australia there was at that time.
Yeah.
So you have to get your copy of the film because I'm going to do a countdown. And when I say play, you're going to press play as well. And you're going to be synced up with us as we discuss the majesty of cinema that is Evan Almighty. So get ready because we're going to start this in 3, 2, 1, play.
Let's play.
Evan is in my doorway. Yes, and we are 3 seconds, 4 seconds, 5 seconds, 6 seconds. That's the whole podcast.
Thank you.
Just me counting down every single second.
That's the best commentary.
Universal made this. You know, we are in the universe, and God created that. Are we a
and we are-
Christian-based podcast? Maybe.
And we are looking at the world, and what does God have in his hands?
Universal Cinemas.
The whole world. He's got the whole Universal Cinemas company in his hands.
And one day, Disney will try and own it too.
Hey, look, Spyglass.
Spyglass.
Spyglass. So, this is Evan Almighty. This is a sequel movie to what I would say is a very popular movie. It is one of, I would dare say, modern era Jim Carrey films that are actually liked, because most of his films in this modern era no one really watches or talks about, like in comedy terms. Like, he has a few serious ones that are pretty good, but like I would say Bruce Almighty's probably one of his last comedy films. He's the
Yeah.
lead that people genuinely love. I'm one of them. This is a sequel to that, and that film, Bruce Almighty, was an adult comedy. And Evan took the mighty approach of being a family comedy, which is great. Now, guys, do you have a family?
Yeah, I got a few.
No, I do. Touched a soft spot.
Caitlin just wanted to show us she could cry.
In an audio fashion, it could have sounded like laughing, but it was crying.
Single tear.
We could tell Caitlin's crying from her laughter, because her laughter's like a punch in the face, while her cries are like a smooth, gentle rub of the face. So there you go.
Oh, gorgeous.
Oh, look, the main actress from Gilmore Girls is the wife in this movie.
Yeah, that's it.
My girlfriend watches Gilmore Girls, and that's why I know that fact. I hate
okay.
Gilmore Girls, and I just went, oh, he's crying too. I'm crying too, Steve. I'm crying you didn't get the Oscar for this movie. I know that you could have got it for Foxcatcher, but you should have got it for this classic. So, guys, I'm going to ask the question, a bit more of a complex one. Usually I ask what's the history with this movie we have, but I'm also going to ask our history with its predecessor, Bruce Almighty.
Yes.
What is our history with both of these films? Bartek?
So, in the 2000s, the internet was becoming a big thing, and I eventually discovered, whoa, I've got the power to watch movies on the internet.
Adult movies.
Well, any movies really,
We all just looked at each other like,
but especially like new releases and things like that.
Oh, yeah.
And movies that I may have missed. So there was a time where I saw there was a movie called Evan Almighty out, and that it was a sequel to Bruce Almighty, which is a film that I was aware of but never saw. So I used the power of this internet to watch Bruce Almighty, and then I watched Evan Almighty.
Oh, back to back.
Stunning.
I can't remember if it was immediate, but it was definitely within close range of each other.
And what was your feelings about those films when you watched them? And how long ago was this now?
Oh, well, it definitely would have been around the time this film was in cinemas, just out of cinemas, so it would have been 07, 08, I want to say.
A decade ago, okay.
Yeah, pretty
Wow.
much. I remember liking Bruce more.
Mm-hmm.
I guess because the comedy, it was a lot more mature. Well, mature.
It did
was...
have monkeys coming out of buttholes, so it
Love
was pretty
it.
mature.
I should point out, I really like Jim Carrey, so I definitely like that one
That's
a bit
okay.
more.
I really like Steve.
I like Steve too.
His weird brother, Steve Carey.
Yeah, and then when I watched this one, I was like, oh, this one's a bit more family friendly, and he doesn't have like the powers of God or anything like that. So I thought the first one was more interesting, but definitely, I feel like people that I spoke to around that time liked this one or were more excited for this one.
Really?
I think so.
Wow.
Yeah,
mean, it is great.
I guess maybe I misremembered, but definitely today it's not as appreciated.
No, no. Hey, Dean Norris is in this as well. I forgot about that. He's in Breaking Bad as the DEA brother-in-law.
Oh, right.
So if you see a bold cop, it's most likely Dean Norris. What about you, Caitlin Wiley? Your history with the films Bruce Almighty and Evan Almighty?
So Bruce Almighty has been with me since a young age. I've really grown as a person watching that film, and I didn't know anything about Evan Almighty, though now having seen it has made a huge impact on my life.
As it should.
Yeah.
As it should. I mean, you liked Bruce, didn't know about Evan. Now, if you had to make a sequel to Bruce Almighty, would you make it about his dick work colleague Evan?
Well,
Who, might I add, in my opinion, in Bruce Almighty had the funniest scene in which Jim Carrey makes him
my
speak
God.
gibberish
It's
on
actually incredible.
air, and he's just like fighting. He's like, yes, and there's been an earthquake in Lake Titicaca, and he's like doing all the Steve Carell isms.
I love it.
Would you make a sequel about him, and would you make it a family movie?
Oh, yes.
Well, I was going to say, it takes a genius to say yes to that.
Absolutely. Oh, thank you. No. But I don't know. I really wanted to see more like from him, and
He did give a lot of beard action in this.
oh, incredible beard. That's a godlike power.
Beards? Hear that, Bartek? You're gone.
Yes,
This is an audio format.
it's a godlike.
People can't tell that I have a
A
beard.
gourd-like?
Godlike power.
It's like my favorite vegetable, the gourd. No,
Gourds aren't vegetables.
I know. I was waiting for you. I
They're like
literally,
pots.
I know. I literally looked around at Bartek. I was like, "When's he gonna get me on this?"
Well, no, because I was thinking of, correcting you and saying, like, no, that wasn't her saying gourd. It was her saying, like, a Jersey accent.
Gourd. G-A-W-D.
Take it as you will.
Good. So my history with both films is I saw Bruce Almighty in the cinema at the time.
Amazing.
I remember loving it very much so. I was also a big Jim Carrey fan. Still am, for the most part. I remember growing up, I loved him as the Riddler in the Batman
Oh,
Forever
wow,
movie.
yeah.
And I've watched that movie again, and he's the best part of it.
Ace Ventura was always
Except-
the big thing for me.
Ace Ventura.
Yes.
Ace Ventura was good. I always grew up on the second one more than the first one for some reason.
Same.
Good. Bartek was just like, second one's pretty good. But I always loved, Jim Carrey's energy. And I was like, Bruce Almighty, yeah, I get to see him, and it's an adult comedy too. And he's like, parting soup with God powers. That was like the big, trailer moments. Like, look at him, I'm parting soup with,
His
God
eyes
powers.
roll back. It's beautiful.
Good.
Yeah.
And then you watch the movie, and it's amazing. It's got Jennifer Aniston in it, and he immediately, when he gets God powers, is like, the one thing I need to do to fix Jennifer Aniston is give her bigger tits, which is what he did immediately. And then you got Steve Carell in there, and I always remembered him in that. But I didn't remember that it was Steve Carell, because in my brain, the first time I ever really knew who Steve Carell was the 40-year-old virgin. Like, I
Yeah.
remember seeing all those posters for the 40-year-old virgin. Like, who's this guy? He looks like the Australian comedian Colin
Yeah.
Lane
I
from
listened
Lane
to
Woodley.
I
I'm
listened
like,
to our
who's that?
episode on Alexander and Terrible, Horrible, No Good, Very Bad Day, and you told that story there.
And it's told again. And I said, after watching Bruce, which I really loved, I was like, I hope one day they make a sequel. And they did. And it was not what I was expecting. I didn't see this one in the cinema. Don't know why. And I eventually did see it, and I owned it on DVD, and I found it very enjoyable. I like the lighter tone because I felt like you could go the adult tone of the first one again. And what, do you want to see Steve Carell, like, grab animals out of people's butts 2 by 2? Like,
I mean,
2 monkeys? Like,
Do you want to see the same exact thing again?
and this is a family movie that has a lot of Christian imagery and references
Yeah.
throughout it. 614, which we know will be a big thing throughout the movie. And I thoroughly enjoyed this movie. I when I first saw it, and I've always said to myself, why aren't people talking about this? This is a really good movie.
This has the best use of a nose in cinema.
oh my goodness, yes.
Steve
do
Carell,
people do this?
No, not with razors like he is. The other stuff, yeah, I
Little swab
guess.
up the
Here we
nose?
go, this part here. Look how stretchy it is.
Gorgeous.
Steve Carell does have an impressive nose. I mean, his nose is the center point of his generic white guy face. Doesn't he look like he could just blend into the background of anything? Like he's
Yeah,
just so-
really well.
He looks like a Lego man.
Yes.
He's like a jack of all trades, but he's also
Yes.
very funny.
How come
Yeah.
he wasn't the dad in the Lego movie? You know, in the Lego movie,
With Will Ferrell. Yeah.
yeah, it's Will Ferrell, and it's like, why didn't they get him to be the dad? And he just looks like an actual Lego man. Because he looks like an actual Lego man, doesn't he?
I guess
He looked like
Especially
a
in that
doesn't-
suit. Doesn't he? Yes, he
Seriously.
does.
And I'm not saying Steve Carell has all the personality of a piece of Lego, but he's pretty impressive. Now,
This is our third time with him on the show, I think.
pretty impressive,
Oh,
Steve.
wow.
Yeah.
Steve's a hero of ours.
Great track record.
We had him on Alexander and the Terrible, Horrible, No Good, Very Bad Day, and what was the other one?
Bewitched.
Bewitched, where he played Uncle Arthur. Or he played Paul Lynn, the actor who played Uncle Arthur. It was very
He
confusing.
played a character that claimed to be Uncle Arthur.
Now, in that sequence just then, when he opened up the chest, or the crate with all the tools, I just want to point out that this film is very accurate to a lot of things, because my father's profession is a shipwright, so building ships.
Yep.
And he said, oh yeah, those tools that's in there, accurate. Yep, you would totally use those. Yep, 100%. You would use those. Yep. And he was just like
Really?
very impressed. He's like, yep, that's 100% what you would use, especially in the time period.
Whoa,
Yep.
did this film have like a
Wow.
good budget or something?
It's the most expensive comedy ever made, Caitlin. Did you know this? This movie is the
that
most
serious?
expensive comedy film ever made. Think about it. With all the special effects, the high class,
animals.
all the animals, and all the talent involved. You got Wanda Sykes there.
Mm-hmm.
You got Jonah Hill before he was big, so I guess he was cheaper back then.
Well, he was bigger when he was younger, right?
He
He lost weight. He's looking good.
Yeah.
And then he gains weight again for roles. He's a shapeshifter, man. And, you got Michael C. Higgins there, who a lot of people, I guess, now know him as one of the commentators in Pitch Perfect.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Yeah. He's been in everything. That guy, he's in everything. You hear his voice in lots of things. He's just one of those actors, again, looks like a Lego man. He's just one of those guys.
Lots of Lego men in
He's
this.
also, I'm pretty sure, on Fired Up. The one about cheerleaders. I think he's one of the teachers on campus or something. He's like one of the best parts of everything. He's always
What
the
does that
best part
spell?
of everything.
F-U.
He's the best part of everything he's in, Michael C. Higgins. And I kind of had him as my favorite character in this movie for a long period of time. But then Wanda Sykes had to roll on in with her sassy black woman lines, and I just got one over.
She's fantastic.
I got one over. So, Bartek, revisiting this film a decade later with a more mature mind and a stronger wisdom for films having to cover them so often on this show,
Yep.
what was your feeling now having to revisit it?
Well, my first thought was that I was really impressed that they got all the right shipwright materials in that chest. But that was only one scene, so I had
Well,
to.
they show the shipwright materials later on, so it's okay.
Yes, and I was impressed by that too. I think I only learnt like 2 years ago that this was one of the most expensive comedies ever made. So it was also like a shock of like, oh, this is the one that's most expensive, and also, oh, that film existed.
Not year one.
Not year one. Was year one expensive?
It had Jack Black in it. Just saying, that's enough
Ooh.
to be expensive. And Michael Cera, so...
True, but it only has a 1 in the title.
Oh, and a year, so there you go.
You gotta like consider, inflation back in year 1.
Yeah, it was like
Absolutely.
1 cent today is like
One
$50.
pebble.
I've been watching a lot of old school 1970s TV shows at recent. Like I've been watching the TV series Columbo, and he buys like a bowl of chili at a restaurant, and they're like, it's $6, and he's like, Jesus, because $6 in today's inflation is $35.
Really?
And he's like,
Wow.
Jesus. So there's like a time where he's like, I want to get my wristwatch band replaced, and like that would be $25. It's like, oh Jesus, like I want to sell my car. I'll give it to you for $90. It's like that's a lot of money. That's like over $500.
Yeah, and you can imagine year 1.
A lot of
It
inflation.
was a lot more
A
expensive.
lot.
Definitely, I appreciate this movie a lot more now, because I can see all of its great values. The fact that it can teach you a lot about, if you're interested in faith, you can learn about that. You can, if you're someone who isn't religious but maybe has misconceptions, I think Morgan Freeman's portrayal of God can, enlighten you a little bit about,
If you're
what he's all
against
about.
capitalism,
You can
this
lear-
film's for you.
You can learn some great verses like "Make me some boat."
Is that one of them?
Yeah, that's
Word for
Genesis
word.
6:14.
Oh, make me some bone.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that. With Gopher Wood.
Yes.
Okay. Oh no, they're dropping wood on his lawn. That's going to leave a brown spot.
and definitely I'm much
Love that
more
line.
aware of a lot of these actors' works, so I'm a lot more aware of who John Goodman is these days than I
Yep.
was back then.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm more aware of what Steve Carell can do in films. Is
He
Carell?
can do.
Is it Carell or Carroll?
Carell.
So the first one I
Yes.
said? Yeah, Carell.
You're correct.
I'm correct.
No, you're not a carrot. Get it right.
Oh, jeez Louise.
Hey, Caitlin, do you think you'd ring that number to get us some nice wood?
You haven't read the trivia about that number, have you?
Is it a real number?
At the time this film was being released, that number, if you called it, would promote the film.
Really?
Caitlin, call that number.
No,
so
no,
we can get some
it doesn't
wood.
work
Rewind.
anymore.
No, you need to
damn
be like,
it.
Caitlin, go get us some wood. Call that number. So you were saying that this film's
That's the
great?
trivia. Oh, yes. I like it a lot more now. Not to say that I didn't like it back then, but now I'm smart, so I can like.
Now, Caitlin, I hear you saying, did they really say go for wood in the Bible?
Yes,
And
I
the
absolutely
answer's-
said that.
The answer is yes in certain Bibles, because with Bibles, it's like you can have different Bibles because of
Yes.
different faiths and translations and whatever. So I was thinking it was in like I can't remember. I looked it up last night. It was like the Saint George Bible, something or other. It's
King
like
James?
King James. Sorry, fuck. King James Bible. I'm not a Bible man. I'm a yelling at you man. In that one, it's like, yeah, it is go for it, but in other ones, it's what God's saying is the wood that he's actually got there, so that's kind of neat. This film actually goes out of its way to actually have neat little Bible references and Christian references
Yeah.
and stuff like
Yeah.
that, so that's kind
One
of
of
neat.
one of the ones that I read in the IMDb trivia was, how his house is 416, I think it was.
Yeah.
The verse
Is about Cain.
Yeah, it's about Cain,
And it's about,
the
like,
naughty boy.
it's about, like,
Ooh.
this land you shall walk upon in detriment and whatever, so it's kind of like this land's cursed.
Ooh,
And that's kind of neat because at the end it is
Louise.
cursed because it gets wiped out by the flood. So it was
Yeah.
kind of like a cursed land. See,
Yeah.
Caitlin, welcome to Spit, Polish, and Christ. So,
just getting my mind blown.
Caitlin,
Jeez
you weren't even
Louise.
aware that this film existed before I said, "Hey, we're going to do Evan Almighty."
Yeah,
and you were
literally.
like, "Great, I was going to come on for Grease too, but you did it without me because I couldn't come." But
Yeah,
Evan
yeah.
Almighty will do. What did you think was going to happen in this? Like, hey, Caitlin, we're going to do Evan Almighty. What did you think that was going to entail with this film?
I had this sort of idea that Evan was going to try and get his job back, or I don't know, something. Just him being a dick, and him and Jim just having at it. I really had no idea.
Oh, so you thought Jim Carrey was going to be in this?
Well, I just thought he'd have like a little tiny cameo or something. Like, I don't know.
He wanted to have one, but
Dead wrong.
there was some
Literally.
complication. Apparently, the studio was like, if we're gonna have him, he's gonna be the main character, and Jim was like, I don't want to take that away from Steve.
And that's also true because this is a period of time where Steve Carell wasn't the big name we know him today. Like, think about it, he did do quite a lot. He did Anchorman, he was doing The Office at this period of time, he had already done Bewitched, I think. So
Had he done the 40-year-old Virgin Mary?
I think because it's referenced.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it would have been around already, but like I don't think he was as big a name as Jim Carrey. But today, Steve Carell could easily
Killing it.
kill it with Jim Carrey. I mean, they starred together in a movie
Has he been nominated for an Academy Award once or twice?
once. Steve Carell. I mean, they've been in Jim Carrey and Steve have been in a movie together, The Incredible Burt Wonderstone, where they played magicians.
Oh, yes.
Will be on the show one day, in case you wanted to know. Unappreciated. So, Caitlin, you thought Jim was going to show up, and you thought it was going to be about Evan being a dick.
Yeah, something along those lines. I don't know.
Jim did not show up. Was Evan a dick?
Oh, you know what? Not really. No, like I don't really think he was as much of a dick as he was
In the
before.
original- no.
And that was really surprising to me.
He's a bit of a goofy dad.
Yeah, literally, just a bit, misunderstood.
Fun fact, in the original Bruce Almighty, they had an alternative ending for his character in Evan Almighty, where Steve Carell's character gets really annoyed at Bruce, so Bruce sets him on fire.
Oh.
And then, no, this is true, you can see the footage, it has fire coming out of his head. And then the final scene is Bruce trying to gain an apology off of him for setting him on fire, and he doesn't accept his apology. And then he walks out, and you see Steve Carell turn around, and the back of his head has third-degree burns, and he's trying to comb over it with the remaining of his hair. And
you're
I'm just
saying-
that's ooh.
You're saying that the original version of the previous film ended much more dark?
Yeah, with his character. Like
history
he was
repeats itself.
getting...
Apparently, for this film, the whole world was just going to be flooded, and the fact that they're still alive on the Ark was the resolution.
Oh, but instead they said, nah, John Goodman just don't know how to build dams.
Nah, just Washington, D.C. gets a little bit of a wash, and houses get destroyed.
A little bit.
Gen 614, U.S. Congress, what does that mean?
Is that the one with Kane?
No. That's 4-6. That's
I'm so dumb.
No, I also thought when growing up, before seeing this movie, I thought Jim Carrey was going to make an appearance, but I kind of commend them on not relying on Jim Carrey to show up to be like, get it, we're in the same universe. I'm passing off the torch to little Stevie. You do a good job, Stevie. Thanks, Jimmy.
Yeah.
And he runs away.
Jim basically said that all he wanted was to have a little cameo where he's watching the news and he sees, like, the Ark Man, and then he looks up to the sky and is like, could you have something to do with this? Nah.
Nah.
And that's all he wanted from the film.
Yeah, I like in his brain, he looks up, he's like, do you have something to do with this god? Nah, Evan's just crazy. I learned nothing from my first movie.
Nah.
Whoop. So, here he is, greatest actor ever, John Goodman.
Oh, he's amazing.
I think this is our second time seeing him on the show.
What was the other one again?
Confessions of a...
Shopaholic, he was her dad. Yeah. I love John Goodman. He's the
pretty
best
great.
in everything. Like, think about how much John Goodman has been a part of our lives in movies. He was the voice of Sully in Monsters, Inc.
Love it.
And, that's just for kids. He's in lots of things. Like, he was in
Lebowski.
Big Lebowski, and a lot of Coen Brothers movies. He's just in 10 Cloverfield Lane, King Ralph, which we will cover one day on the show. John Goodman's like, there was a certain period of time where John Goodman was in every Oscar winner film. Like, he was in The Artist. He was like, it was around that time. He was around that. It was like 2012 to 2015. I think he was like, had a small role in each Oscar-winning film or Oscar-nominated film for Best Picture. I'm like, Argo. He was in Argo, the Ben Affleck one, and it's just like, why is John Goodman not won an Oscar yet? Like, where's his Oscar? I personally believe that he should have won an Oscar for The Big Lebowski. I think that's his best performance in his entire career, and he'll never be able to beat that, even though he has, because he's just the greatest. I love him. And in this movie, they had the brave idea of getting Sully from Monsters, Inc. and making him an evil congressman.
But he's just so jolly to look at.
He has.
Jolly old
I'm pretty
man.
sure he has played Santa Claus. Yes, on Futurama. He was the voice of Robot Santa Claus in the first episode.
Of course.
Not in any of the other episodes, just the first one. They could only afford him for one. That's the reason.
Then see ya.
Because John Goodman's a lot of money, man. Because do you see how big he is? You have to pay by the pound.
You know, Ryan, they say that talent used to mean you had a lot of money.
Oh, talents?
Yeah,
Yeah.
talents.
I thought you said talons, and I'm like, what is he?
He's not a bird.
This
There's a
movie-
scene where he sees a lot of birds.
This
but
movie does have a lot of birds.
it
There's a
does.
shit ton of birds.
You need those birds on the ark so they don't drown.
Now, guys, we all have families
We'll have arcs.
and arcs. You know, a random act of kindness and
Act of random kindness.
a random act of kindness.
That's
You're right.
that's rack.
I know. So, do we all have siblings?
I do, yes.
I do, yes.
Now, we have to be the dynamic of these three amazing kids. Which one of the kids are we? And which ones
Oh,
are our
jeez.
siblings?
Which one of us knows penis facts about animals?
Okay,
Wait,
so well, that's why the kids. He's like, I know facts about penises of animals. This bird has a dick as big as its body.
There was a duck.
Yeah,
He doesn't actually
bird.
say that, but he may as well.
No, he did say that.
He does.
What?
He literally said
Steve
that. Like,
Carell later tells what he learned to John Goodman when he's in his office.
yeah, the kid says this when they're building the ark together. It's like, yeah, this Brazilian duck has.
It's
the
really
penis
random.
the
He's
size
like,
of
all right,
his
guys,
body."
listen up. And then the kid randomly says it and he's like, thank you.
So that's Caitlin.
Yeah, like what? Like, I don't even recall that. This
We'll
bird
point it
has
out.
a-
Bartek, I
Yes?
think sometimes with your pedanticness, you'd equate to being the eldest son.
Dylan, I think his name.
Dylan, who, when he sees his parents arguing about his dad's sanity and the mum screams out, "Go away, Noah," he just shrugs and goes, all right, that's you. But then...
I don't like the dance,
but then, yes, but then you stand by at the end. Like, at the end, you're like, I don't need any evidence to convince me that he's not insane. I'll just follow him. And I guess I'm the other kid. That's our
penis one?
That's
Which one?
The middle one.
The middle one that you don't
right.
remember.
He doesn't stand out as much as little kid or big kid.
I love this scene with all the animals in pairs just walking past in the park and no one gives a shit. No one really notices.
No.
There's some hawks.
Well, there's
I was actually thinking that too. No one's noticing, but when he's running into the building, some people do have.
they
a look.
have a slight
"Oh."
notice. They're like, oh,
Yeah, like
They're
look
like,
at the
"Oh,
people on
how
the stairs
odd."
here.
yeah. Look how they mildly react. Oh.
Oh, that's weird.
You're like that.
And then
Anyway.
they go back to conversation like, yeah, you know birds, right? Crazy. Have you seen that film by Alfred Hitchcock? Nah.
The flappy things.
Flappy Bird? Angry Birds, my favorite Jason Sudeikis movie. Angry Birds. Right up there with the Emoji Movie. But where their Oscar nominations.
Oh my goodness.
I still can't get over that we live in a world where The Boss Baby got an Oscar nomination.
It got an Oscar
Yeah,
nomination.
for Best Animated
Oh my
Movie.
goodness.
It didn't win. But
It didn't win because
Oh, okay.
Pixar always wins.
Yeah, Coco.
Yeah.
I think. won.
Coco won because
I
if
love Coco.
you love
I
Coco,
love my Coco.
she's talking about the product Coco. Not
A
the
little bit of
fr-
column A, little column B.
So you might not have noticed this, but
That's a bird. I didn't notice that. That's another one.
it is a bird.
That's
Okay,
another one. and another
I
one.
didn't
Here
notice.
they
Hey, fun
come.
fact, wouldn't it be great if we just started counting how many birds there were in this scene? And then we just stop and go, the answer's a lot.
You know what? I'd probably prefer to listen to that than counting the seconds of the film.
All right, let's go.
I gotta get back to that,
What's
by
a
the way.
recap,
So we
Ryan?
are 26 minutes of 31, 32,
Well, how many
33,
seconds in total is that?
34, a lot.
So what's
Oh,
60
my
times
word.
26 plus the seconds?
So Bartek, what was your fact?
So you know how there are two of every animal?
Yeah, male and female, I imagine, unless they want some gay animals.
Yes, you're
I
right,
mean-
actually, Ryan. Male and female, and that's a reference to this story in the Bible that is known as Noah's Ark.
Oh my god, is this a reference point to Noah's Ark?
Yeah, in fact, if you watch the film, you'll actually notice there are a lot of references to Noah's Ark.
I thought this was going to be a reference to...
Ryan, did you not see a few minutes ago he was actually looking up Noah's Ark on his computer?
Oh my god. And he closed it slightly.
Just lightly.
And tilted it away from his wife.
Well, you
That's
know,
so conspicuous.
honey, what are you looking at? Porn. It would be less
I'll think of
embarrassing.
something. Yeah.
Hey, peacocks.
Yep.
I like
They
peacocks.
are there. The peacocks are very intimidating creatures. No,
I can kick your ass.
You want to go? Let's go.
How come there's no Australian birds here? How come there's not like a giant emu?
Ryan, this is
Seriously,
America.
Yeah, but they could have. But they have African animals at the
gotta-
end.
No,
You gotta
they
commit.
don't.
They have giraffes
Are
and
you-
elephants
Are you telling me that there are tigers in this film?
and lions. Oh my!
Ryan, you have to catch me up on my trap. Tigers aren't African.
Oh, they're Asian. You're right.
Yeah.
Ooh,
I don't care.
They're from India and China.
Ooh, schooled. Sorry.
Who do you think you are?
That look, I was like, I'm
The
sorry.
the word is taught.
There you go.
I taught you. You
Yeah,
learned.
Yeah, twat.
You just got served.
She's being Jersey again.
You just got served. Remember that episode of South Park where
It's a Jersey thing?
Where Randy got attacked by the dance troupe and he's like, yes,
Oh,
he got severely served here, and especially here. So I just want to point out the amazing thing about this sequence here. Those are real birds.
Do you reckon they were trained to shit on cue?
No, I think that Steve Carell just gives off an odor.
And the odor makes them shit.
No, he just smells like shit.
Well, Ryan, we don't know that he smells like shit. We only know
Well, guys, I watched this in Robert Rodriguez's smell.
Just wafting.
Oh,
smell
did you
of
get
the
like the
shit?
card?
Yeah, you scratch the card's like every time Steve Carell is on screen, scratch this card and the card suspiciously looks
so
like a pile of poo and it smells like a pile of poo and I think it is a pile of poo.
So it wasn't like, oh, when the number 2 pops up on the screen, scratch the 2.
No, it's just every time Steve Carell's on it, sniff this poo.
If Steve Carell is listening, I'm sure you smell good.
Watching El Mariachi was weird.
You know what? The greatest part of that would be is if Steve Carell is sitting there listening to this and all he gets from this is, you're right, I should have got an Oscar nomination for this.
Oh, look, Wanda Sykes is being sassy.
Whoa, Wanda Sykes is a proud black woman and she's allowed to be sassy.
She's very proud.
And very, very sassy.
It's
Oh,
amazing.
watch out, guys.
Couple of ox. Is it oxen? It
Yeah.
is, isn't it? Yeah.
You can call them oxys,
Ox.
you moron.
And those are eeps and coons and erds.
That's a spider.
Spides.
As if you wouldn't feel the spiders
I
just
think he-
crawling on your face.
I think he
No,
does
no,
feel them.
but the problem is you don't feel them crawling on your suit until they're on your face.
Right, got you.
I like how the bravery of just throwing them off, though.
Yeah.
Well,
Like, if I had a spider on my face, I would be still. I'd be like, oh, God! And that would be me. That would be the whole movie.
and then your throat drives away.
This is me now.
You know, there's that
It's a part
movie.
of
You
me.
know, there's those movies like Buried and 127 Hours, where it's
Oh,
like
yeah.
he's James Franco stuck in a on a mountain. He has to cut off his own fucking arm, or he is one of Ryan Reynolds buried in a coffin for the whole movie. Evan Almighty, if it was a realistic person afraid of spiders, would just be watch him go "Ugh," for an hour after having a spider on his
Credits.
face. Credit. And think about it. If there's any actor in the world that you have to hire to make the perfect noise,
Carell.
it's Steve Carell, because he
1
does it
million
throughout this
trillion
movie.
percent.
He does a
Yes.
lot of and and noises,
Yes.
and he's
He's
great.
the king.
Yeah,
of
a
the-
runner-up though, Jim Carrey.
Maybe. I don't know. I'm thinking Jason Schwartzman. Just give it to him. No one talks about him enough. I don't know how much he goes. No, give it to Owen Wilson. Oh wow!
Wow.
Wow! and then you hear Will Ferrell somewhere in the distance. He's so hot right now. You know what the saddest thing is? Zoolander has a rating on IMDb of 6.6.
Wow.
That's so low. I think it deserves an 8. Or, in my eyes, a perfect 10 out of 10. It's one of the few comedies next to this movie that I think gets a perfect 10 out of 10. You know, it's right up there. Zoolander, Evan Almighty, Galaxy Quest, 10 out of 10.
Gorge.
Gorge. Gord. Bartek, Gord, get out of here.
Gord.
Bada bing, bada bang.
You know, now that you've mentioned gourds, I am kind of hungry.
Now, I've got to ask this question.
Yes.
Are you really hungry?
Well, we did have a bit of cake.
Yeah, guys, you weren't invited to the cake party. Caitlin brought some cake. I mean, Caitlin brought some
No,
cake.
Caitlin brought some Kate.
Oh, she served us up some Caitlin.
Oh, we got served.
Yes, finally.
Here, and especially
although,
here.
although Ryan was the one that cut it and put it on plates.
Caitlin cut it at one point.
Yes.
Yes, and she gave me a spoon.
I also...
Ryan didn't give us spoons, so we were like,
I said just eat it with your fucking mouths.
Just
Whoa.
eat it, just face plant
Gordon
into it.
Freeman
Gordon Freeman.
What the hell?
Isn't he the main character
Yeah,
in the
I
Half-Life game?
haven't even played those games.
I haven't either. So Gordon Freeman confirmed. Half-Life 3 is confirmed.
Isn't he
Cannot
mute?
escape the
Bit and
gourd.
polish is confirmed.
I'm sorry. The other Freeman, Morgs.
I was gonna say Martin Freeman just to throw you off.
No.
No, I don't allow British
Not
white.
today,
I don't
not
allow
today.
British white men who was also in the British version of The Office. Connection.
I was just going to say that M. Freeman told
Martin Freeman, yeah.
told S. Carell that he loves him.
Oh, it was a beautiful moment.
I felt beauty. Now, the real question I gotta ask is: this film has a lot of
I have a question, actually. What does beauty feel like?
warm,
Sunshine and flowers.
moist.
It's like my, it's like my So basically, it's like my armpits.
Yeah, it's Bartek's pits. That's 100% it. Beauty's armpits.
Bartek's armpits, in
Specifically,
particular.
his hairy armpits. Bartek can make dreads out of his armpit hairs.
Well, that's true beauty, isn't it?
I just got an idea for a project.
Oh, do tell, no.
So I was gonna ask. This film's it does have a lot of religious stuff in it, and I feel like this takes place in an atheistic world because it seems like
Yeah.
they're the only family that are Christians, but everyone else is like, ew, God.
I think I've read comments on YouTube similar to that.
I wanted to ask, what is your background with religion? I've already asked this on the show before to you,
Yeah.
Bartek, but it's always good to recap on stuff. Caitlin, what about you?
I was baptized Christian, but I haven't really
Oh, when was that?
done. Let me think. When I was a baby, but
Such a troublemaker.
not really not very incredibly religious at all, really.
Oh,
But
yeah?
my mum's quite Buddhist, and on
Oh, that's okay.
Thai holidays and things like that, we'll go to temples and
Butter,
have a
butter it up.
great old time. Butter it up.
Got
yeah.
any recommendations for temples?
Give us your Yelp review.
But yeah, it was good. It's good. But I did actually have that thought, like, what are people, like Christian people who are quite faithful to their religion? What are their thoughts on this kind of take on this film?
I would hope so.
Because
I would hope
is
it's
it like
positive.
a mock, like, to them? Do they take offense? You
I've
know what I mean?
I've
think
read
they
IMDb.
should.
I've read IMDb reviews that they really liked it.
Oh
I
yeah.
think it has a very positive outlook on the whole Christian idea. Like, he doesn't fight against it too much. There comes a point where he just accepts it. He's like, all right, God.
You know what? The scene where he was praying, I think I actually did have that shown in a religion class once.
To show you this is not how you pray.
Actually, more like the opposite. It was actually more like everyone has their own experience with religion, so they have their own ways of praying. So even if it seems like kind of silly and casual, like, you know, it's okay because it's your conversation with God, not you following social cues or whatever like that.
Ah, fair enough.
And then we watched Liar Liar.
Oh, another Jim Carrey classic.
Yeah, well, aging Carrey classic because there's a sequel to one.
Oh, yeah. So, my history with the religious is I grew up with a Catholic background. Not really religious. I mean, I went to mass. I've been, had a communion, all that kind of bullshit. But, like, my parents don't really care. They're just like, do that. And then,
Yeah, well, you got that when
don't
you said
need
bullshit.
to do...
Yeah, literally.
It's bullshit, don't care. So I'm agnostic, but every now and then, just to annoy people, especially like the mega Christians. I used to live with a mega Christian. I just like to be like, well, I'm Catholic. And it always bugs them out.
Listen
there's
to
a
our
lot
episode
of-
on Bringing Down the House.
There's a lot of Christians that are just like, Catholic. Oh, I'm Christian. I'm like, what the fuck does that mean?
I am better.
I'm Catholic. Catholics believe in Christ.
like
I don't know what
saying-
that's supposed to say.
Yeah.
It's like you're saying you're human rather than
It's
a
like,
male or
it's
whatever.
Looking up to God and all that.
Yeah, exactly. It's I don't know. It's kind of like, yeah, I'm Australian, and then someone leaning over and went, yeah, and I'm from Victoria. Like, I don't know what that means. I don't know what that means.
But kind of the opposite, actually. I'm Victorian. Well, I'm from Australia.
No, it's even better. It's like, I'm Australian. Yeah, and I'm human. You got me there. Yeah.
Well.
So, Bartek?
I'm Polish.
Oh, okay, nailed it. So, everyone's favorite
They're-
religion, the Polish
They're
religion.
super Catholic.
Super Catholic?
It's not unusual to go to like elderly Polish person's house and see a picture of Pope John Paul II.
Now, I will confirm this. I've now been to Bartek's house, and he has, in his house, in his own bedroom, I do believe, a million pictures of the Virgin Mary.
Oh, I thought we were going to talk about the elephants.
Oh,
It's like half of the room is elephants, the other half is Virgin Mary.
no, that's it. No, 100%. That's his house. In his bedroom, he's got a million frogs. Like, not real frogs, but like toy frogs and stickers and shit. It's like a lot of frogs.
Love it.
So Bartek's room is a bunk bed with only him in there.
I used to be on the top bunk. My stepbrother was on the bottom.
And then a million frogs, a Virgin Mary, and elephants.
I have one elephant in my room, but there are a lot in the rest of the house.
Elephants. It's like, hey, have you been to
I think this is the penis scene.
Have you been to the Catholic
There it is.
circus? Yeah, there it is.
Wow, you guys are right. Can't believe I didn't pick up on that.
It's because you don't listen about penis.
If you
Caitlin's like, I hear penis.
if you have one,
Shut
if
down.
you have one, you learn about them easily.
Yeah, you're just like, mine's almost as big as my body. I must be an Argentinian. Is that what that means? Dude, use gloves.
Oh.
A lot of this could be solved if he had gloves on. I'm just saying, he's like, I got splinters. Gloves, man.
Yes.
Gloves for this.
Yeah, literally.
Dude, seriously? Seriously? Falling over shit.
Well, this is basically a montage of misfortunate things happening to him and falling over.
He gets hurt so many times. You'd think you'd learn, you know?
Nah, Caitlin, you don't learn nothing in life. Life's just
It's
a
all
Life's a merry-go-round. I just want to go back to Bartek's Catholic house for a second. he has elephants and Virgin Marys.
What's
It's
up with
like
the elephants?
Don't forget about the Ganeshas.
and Ganesh's.
Is that because he's an elephant?
his
as well?
mum likes elephants?
Oh,
Yeah.
mum loves elephants.
Yeah.
Why does she love elephants?
Because aren't they cool?
I mean, well, yeah, but like, there's like a lot.
Well, you said yes, so
But I don't know.
You got,
like,
he's got you there.
yeah.
it actually kind of. Not to be honest, it actually blew my mind when you told me I had an elephant in my room.
You're
Yeah.
like, wow, yeah.
I'm like, wait, yes, I do.
like so embedded in your
And he's-
subconscious.
but Bartek's more like, when did she put it there?
I mean, I always knew it was
Mom.
When did you put that
because it's
elephant in my bed?
because it's actually like a cup, and like the thing you hold is the elephant head and like the trunk.
What I'm
So I
basically
always,
saying is,
so I always
Wow,
just thought like,
so
oh,
hidden.
it's just a cup.
Bartek's house is if the Catholic Church put on a circus. It's just like, look at all the Virgin Marys and elephants.
We don't really have that many Virgin Marys, do we?
You have so many. Look, in my house growing up, I had no Virgin Marys. How many Virgin Marys did you have in your house?
0.
Now, Bartek, you have upwards of 6. That's too many Virgin Marys.
Maybe, yeah.
I love how he's like, no, that's
I mean,
right.
they're
That's
not-
a lot of Virgin Marys.
The thing is, they're not mine, so I
in
don't
your
really-
house.
I know they're in my house, but like they're not mine. Like the elephants aren't mine, except the one.
I mean, it's stacking up. Next, you're going to say that Virgin Mary in your room isn't yours. I think there's one in your room. I've only
There
been
might
to
be
Bartek's
one.
house once.
I know I definitely have like a Jesus or two.
Oh, yeah, lots of Jesuses. I mean, I have a Jesus in my house right now, but he's also painted pink, covered in glitter. So
Also-
take that with what you
Ooh.
will.
We're up to the part in the movie where Steve Carell looks like me.
Scruffy hair, lovely beard.
Doesn't he look like Bartek? He does. Is he Polish? No.
Did he get scruffier eyebrows as well? Or have his
Nah.
brows always looked that?
He's always
Well,
looked
he
like
was
that.
cutting his brows earlier.
Yeah,
so...
he looks like he
yeah.
looks less Lego Man-y now, more Charles Manson-y.
More like someone you'll see down at Brunswick.
That's a Melbourne reference for you international listeners.
Like I was watching this and I was like, you know,
Yes.
it's always interesting.
He's a hipster.
It's always interesting the celebrities you might look like. I never thought Steve Carell would be one of them.
Yeah, you really. That's the third thing the kids call you. The kids say
Steve
you
Carell
look
from
like-
that one specific section of the movie.
and you
Evan
look like
Almighty.
Zach Braff. No, not Zach Braff. Zach Galifianakis. If
Yep.
anyone looks like Zach Braff, it's like a disposed of turd. But like, I don't like Zach Braff.
And Jack Black's the other
And
one.
Jack Black, apparently. Do you think he looks like Jack Black? Do you,
Um,
visual confirmation for me?
No,
No.
not really. I don't know.
He
That's
looks
just
like
me.
Jack's weird cousin, Bartek Black. I love his cousin's got the same name too.
What?
Black.
Wow.
Yeah, no, Caitlin. So
Jeez.
this movie's religious, and we all have some minor experiences with religion. But do we care for religion when it's in media? Like this is got a lot of positive religious things. do we mind or do we roll our eyes when we see a movie that's like, yep, God, Christian God, you accept it?
I don't think I mind. Do you?
Sometimes. I sometimes do mind. Sometimes I'm like, oh, God, can't we just not?
God, can't we just not?
God,
Like it was God's idea.
Excuse me.
God, I get it, man. Like sometimes I get so bored watching movies, and it's just like you have these characters that just have such Christian values. I'm like, oh God, please give me someone with different values.
And then, ironically, we watch Meteor Apocalypse and I'm like, where's God?
Where you at?
But no, I do. Like sometimes it's just you just go, oh, okay. Yeah, I don't know. I've watched a lot of movies. I've consumed a lot of stories, and I just get bored or annoyed sometimes with just the things that you see again and again. Like,
Are you talking about like religious agenda films?
no, but even where you just not even necessarily just the pure religious agenda films, but sometimes it's like, yep, we've got to make a point that this is Superman. He's Jesus.
Oh,
you get it?
So like
Like,
symbolism.
symbolism and just like
Yeah, that I can agree
Or when you
with,
have
yeah.
characters that are like, yeah, I'm a Christian, but then it never factors into anything of their character anyway.
Yeah,
So it's
yeah.
like, what was the point?
Like Meteor
Apocalypse, the film
by
we
Faith
covered-
Films.
by Faith Films. So I sometimes I get bored with like in a movie where you have a romance story for no reason. Like I'm like I don't
Yeah.
care. I don't care. This movie, I love it. There is no romance. It's like, yep, he's already got a wife.
He's already
Like,
married.
thanks.
It's about the love of family, not
it-
falling in love.
But it's like that's one of my least favorite things in Bruce Almighty is the romance aspect of it. It's like, oh, he's got to win Jennifer Aniston's heart. I'm like, I don't fucking care about Jennifer Aniston's
they're making
heart.
they're making a sequel to they're making a sequel to Zombieland.
Oh, great. See, Zombieland's another one where it's like, I don't care about Emma Stone and Jesse Eisenberg's blooming relationship. Unless they make it way more broad. It's like, there's, there are some where it's like, Shaun of the Dead, the romance is very prevalent in that because it's like, ha 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 ha, he was a dipshit and he learns and then they're kind of better at the end. But it's just, still, even then, I'm like, I'd just rather watch Nick Frost text people in the middle of a zombie apocalypse. Nah, sometimes I do. Sometimes I'm just like sick of it. I'm just like, come on, can't we just do something else?
And then you watched Evan Almighty, and it was a breath of fresh air.
Well, no, Evan makes it the whole point though, and it's not. I wouldn't say a wholeheartedly Christian agendered movie in the way that say God's Not Dead is, or something like this, like that. This is just a movie where it's like, hey, God's actually in it, except that he's black. And except that, yeah, Christians are right, and everyone else is wrong. What about you, Caitlin? Christians? Movies?
I don't really mind, to be honest, but I do like feel very similarly. Wow, why is that so difficult for me to say?
God! Say it in your Jersey accent.
Similarly.
Okay.
No, that really failed.
That was a southern accent.
That sounds like the fake American accents that non-Americans do.
like those British actors in
I
American
am
Horror Movie.
American.
Hello.
Hello there.
Hello there. I do understand. I do feel very the same way. In terms of just like seeing, I don't know, the same shit very often in films. I'm just like,
See, this film stepped it up. They said, can't we have the kids run in a guinea pig thing? And asking you shall receive.
put them in their place.
And they didn't even put the big one in there. They put the little
Look at
ones.
them
Well, the big one
Look
would
at
be
them
too
struggle.
big.
Mm.
He's
Like-
like 7 foot tall. That big kid's pretty big. I'm pretty sure the big kid's gone on to do things, but I didn't look him up, I'm afraid. Soz.
But nobody cares.
NP.
But when it comes to this movie and its Christian messages and symbolism, it's not as bad. I think it's because it's kind of the main point.
Yeah, it's not so bad, but I do think Evan growing the beard and like the robe, I thought that was a little bit
Awesome.
Epic.
I was like,
Is it because I want to share this? Caitlin has
Yes.
said to me, this is legit. Caitlin has said to me in the past that she wishes she could grow a beard. Remember that? You've said like you
Oh
wish
my
that you
God.
could have a beard.
yeah.
But you can't. I mean, you
No.
could if you want to try out some drugs. But, like,
I just think they're so cool. Like, I think it'd be really,
neat.
really pleasant just to stroke a. Oh crap! sorry.
Fucking hit my mic.
Destroying the joint. But like just to stroke your own beard while contemplating matters of the universe. That'd be incredible.
So
definitely a habit I
that's
picked
why
up.
she's jealous of Evan. He can get forced to grow a beard, and you're like, I can't.
The secret is you have to...
Hey, if you're lucky, maybe when you're really old, your chin hairs will grow out into a beard.
Yeah, sprout a
You have
few
to
and...
you have to sacrifice your ability to burp.
Oh, grow the Fu Manchu look, like the really long wispy one.
Yes, how it just sort of like goes out in like a really straight moustache and
Yeah,
then
yeah,
comes
yeah,
all
yeah.
the way down.
And you're Asian, you can get away with it.
I could.
Yeah, yeah,
I could.
you can.
And it would look amazing.
And then you could recommend some temples to people, and they think
Like
that you're
people like Bartek.
they think you're a monk, and you're like, and then they go there, and it's just some sleazy strip joint. You'd be like,
Hello. It's like I'm the
when
only
you're
one in there,
old,
like, hey.
when you're old, and you have like the long wispy, like Fu Manchu goatee thing going on, and you have fake teeth, just like whip out your fake teeth and be like that really old, like decrepit, like Asian lady that you see that's in
No.
Chinatown, like the ones that are like hunched over
You're like,
beyond degree.
What are you doing walking around,
and
gal?
then you recommend a temple, and then you just straighten up, and you're like 20-year-old Caitlin, like,
My work here is done.
my work here is done, and then you dissolve into the wind. That was Caitlin's role in life, God said,
Yes.
was to deceive foreigners into finding temples.
Take out your teeth and off you go.
It's like an old person anime who like powers up and suddenly they look young and buff.
Super
It takes Caitlin 8 episodes to deceive someone. Next week on Caitlin Deceives. She's about to do it. She's charging up to lie.
She gets 80% of the way through.
She's almost there. And look, she's this actress here who plays Lorelai.
She's in Gilmore Girls.
She plays Lorelai, which is a real name, I guess, in Gilmore Girls.
Lorelai?
Lorelai.
I've heard the German one, Lorelei, but
Lorelai.
I guess it's American.
And
isn't it?
that's a
Appropriation
name.
of German culture. I think
Yeah.
it's German.
Is it weird that I've never seen Gilmore Girls?
I say it's a good thing. There's
Okay.
better things to watch out there.
Now, is it
Oh.
weird that I've never seen Gilmore Girls?
Yes.
Yes, it is. It is actually. No, actually, the funniest thing is, you would be the one guy I could see being like, "Yeah, I've watched Gilmore Girls." Because Bartek's the guy who's like, "Haven't seen Friends, have watched Saved by the Bell though." So
See that Sony show?
yeah, but seriously, I could imagine you walking up to me dead serious, looked me in the eyes and went, "Yeah, my mum and I love Gilmore Girls." And I'm just like, "Of course you do. Of course you do. Why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you?"
I don't know anything about it.
Well, it's about girls.
Oh, I should
Well,
watch it.
Here we
The
go.
Gilmore Girls.
You don't say.
From Gilmore?
No, I think their last name's Gilmore.
Oh.
From the Gilmore lineage? is what I
So
meant?
Lorelai Gilmore is a mum who had a kid.
I don't like that pronunciation though.
Lorelai Gilmore?
Lorelei. It's weird.
Lorelei.
It's Lorelai. Who cares? She has a kid at a
Sigourney.
very young age, and here's the thing. You stop me if you've heard this before.
Oh.
Her kid is like a teenager in the show.
Oh, wait a second. Sam Noonan told us about that.
Her
didn't he?
kid is like looking after her, like, because she's like a child basically, because she had a child at a very young age, so
Yeah,
she's
Sam
not
was
fully
telling
equipped to
us
be an
about
adult.
this.
And her kid's super smart, except for she's an idiot. And her parents, their grandparents or Lorelai's parents, are these rich old white people who are the best part of the show. Like my girlfriends watched it, and every time they come on, it's like, oh yeah, they're the best part of the movie. It's like the dad. I think he's been on the show before as an actor, but he's like that old white guy actor who's like in lots of things, and he always plays like rich, arrogant guys, and he's always the best part. Like, he's in that George Clooney, Catherine Zeta-Jones movie, Intolerable Cruelty, and he plays rich white guy who's married to Catherine Zeta-Jones. Or hold on, he's in Overboard with Kurt Russell and Goldie Hawn, and he plays rich white guy who's married to Goldie Hawn. Do you see a pattern? He's rich white guy who's married to beautiful people.
Oh, Joe's
Adam
Louise.
Sandler?
He is Adam Sandler, but he plays rich characters. Adam usually doesn't play rich characters.
Yeah.
He usually plays down and out characters who live in 2-story mansions still. Like, oh jeez, I'm just a guy who's unemployed, but look at my mansion. I'm Adam Sandler.
Yeah, I think
My wife's moved to Tomei.
I think in
It's like pretty spot
I
on.
think in Big Daddy he lived just in an apartment, but it was still really big.
Yeah, it was
Look
so
at
blessed.
me! Oh, in the city.
Yeah.
Oh, look, I should be Steve Buscemi's character with my income, but I'm not, because I'm Adam Sandler.
Just watch next year. He'll be.
Scooby-Dooby-Doo!
Just watch his next movie. He'll be a homeless man on the yacht.
Remember that one? There's this one.
Literally.
There's this literal Adam Sandler movie where it's like he's just a family guy. He goes on a date with Drew Barrymore. They don't get on, and then two of
blended.
Yeah, and then their bosses or friends win a trip to Africa, but they both can't go, and they both ask their bosses or friends, "Can you give it to me?" And they're like, "Sure." You don't have to pay me. And then the screen splits in half, and at the same time, Drew Barrymore and Adam Sandler both say, "Kids, we're going to Africa!" And then they meet each other in Africa, and then they're like, "Oh, this is a date again, but in Africa." That's a movie. I just want to clarify that. That's a movie. It
was a great movie, though.
Someone sat down and said, "Hey, Evan Almighty is no blended." I said, "How dare you?" Because look at this sequence here where Wanda Sykes is just giving out the best lines. And think about this. I don't know if you've ever done any like films or been in films, Caitlin, but like her shots are just her talking to no one.
Yes.
Just obviously
good.
improvising these wicked lines. That must have been like the 15th million improvised line. But she's just such a comedic force in this movie. Like I kept watching her and I'm just like, God, I remember when I was a kid, she was one that made me laugh the most. And she's one of those actresses that turns up in lots of things and she's always the funniest part. Like I remember there was that show called something or other like The Other Christine or something where it was
The New Adventures of Old Christine.
The New Adventures of Old Christine, and she was her friend, and I remembered her being the best part of the entire show, and I like Julia Louis-Dreyfus, but I was just like, nah, give you all Wanda Sykes, and this movie said, Ryan, ask and you shall receive, because Wanda Sykes is off the chain in this movie. At one point, they're all standing outside, and he's screaming at them, "Get in the Ark," and she's like, "No, I'm wet. I'm going home." And he's like,
It's like my favorite part.
I believed her.
I'm wet. I'm cold. I'm going home.
And the only reason she goes in is because Michael C. Higgins drags her. Like, if it was up to her, she would have walked. And you know what? I believe with her power, if they let her walk, you would see the floodwaters just part.
Yeah. And it's like slow-mo, like what rock ballad music in the background. She's like walking through it all.
No, it would just be no music. It would just be like the water rushing through, and then, like some of it gets in her hair, and she's like, "Bitch, I paid for this hair." And it's like she's being really upset that her perm's ruined by water because perms, water.
That shit expensive.
That shit is expensive.
Yes.
Look at this guy's mustache.
I think this.
He looks like a turtle.
I think this.
He does.
I think this was his last film.
Was it?
I think according to the IMDb trivia,
I'm sorry, Turtle Man.
Oh crap.
he does a dance in the credits.
Oh, did that
That's
kill
really
him?
I think it was partner dancing.
Did that kill him? Now, how good does Steve Carell look with a beard?
Actually incredible.
Would you
Yeah.
grab onto that?
Very sturdily.
Does he look less like a Lego man?
Yeah. I mean, like bearded Lego man, bearded Jesus.
I guess
maybe,
if you had
know.
like a Lego attachment to put between the head and like the neck parts
Yeah,
of the
yeah,
Lego.
I'd just like to remind you that Morgan Freeman was in the Lego movie Connection. Maybe. I'm saying Morgan was telling us back then that Steve Carell should have been in the Lego movie. Maybe as Will Ferrell's character, or maybe as Chris Pratt's character. Just saying. Just saying.
And we're saying Morgan Freeman, not the other one.
No, not Martin.
Also, can I just make a comment?
Yeah.
How incredible is Steve Carell's beard in the little baubles?
Yeah. When he's got them like plaited and the little bauble thing.
They
It's
look
amazing.
Like, yeah, it's incredible.
I want to put that in my butt.
Yeah, they look like anal beads.
I looked her dead in the eyes and I was expecting it to be like most girls and say, "Ew, gross," but you were like, "Yeah!" Right, they did look like anal beads. Caitlin and I are on the same page.
Can you imagine? Wait, no, actually, I don't want to imagine. I don't.
Can
even
you imagine
know if I should
shoving
say
his
it.
beard beads up your anus?
I was gonna. Just about to say it, but I was like, I don't know if I should.
His beard's
I don't
already
know.
brown, so...
You beat
Oh, it just gets worse.
me. You beat me because I was about to say, now, Caitlin, you wouldn't notice because his beard's already brown. Bartek's on the same page. Bartek's on that page. Look at her.
She's so shocked and amused. The wife. Oh, bless.
Her name's Lorelai. Gilmore
Did you?
Girls.
I made a really interesting connection. Her name's Joan, and he's building an ark.
Yes.
Did you?
Now, did you make the connection of the real estate agent's name is Eve Adams?
Oh my god.
And at the end of the film, where God's at the tree, he was seeing an old friend, and there was a white dove.
Yep. That was the dove from the beginning of the movie.
Yep, with the little olive branch thing.
Of peace. Or just an olive branch, I don't know.
I don't think there were peas.
I always said if this movie didn't succeed in the box office, if this movie did succeed and they wanted to make a franchise of movies of religious comedies, which think about how hard that is, religious comedies and comedies that aren't taking the piss out of religion. Like this isn't Life of Brian, right? This is actually a comedy about religion that's actually kind of pro the religion. It's very unique. The first one maybe not so much, but maybe because the character was so against and so mean-spirited and you got to have god powers and you kind of did what you would want to do with god powers, lasso the moon, as you do.
I need to see Bruce again.
Yeah, that's a whole subplot where he drags the moon closer because there's that film where it's like, I'd lasso the moon, and then the rest of the world is suffering from natural disasters.
Everyone's dying around him.
Yeah, dying. He killed people. And no, what I was going to say was like, this movie, it's got a Christian pro thing, but it's a comedy as well. And I thought if this continued as a series, you could do this with other people. Like, I thought the real estate agent would be the third one because her characters are materialistic, corporate, all ego, like her face is everywhere. Wouldn't it be great if the third one was Adam and Eve? Wouldn't that be interesting? And the whole movie, they're naked.
Eve Almighty.
Yeah, no, it would be called Eve Almighty. That's what it would have been called. And Molly Shannon, who plays a real estate agent, is a great comedic actress. She was a Saturday Night Live actress. A lot of these people were from Saturday Night Live or The Daily Show, so that's why Jon Stewart from The Daily Show rocks up as a cameo of himself, and that's kind of cute because Steve Carell kind of started off, or one of his mainstay places was The Daily Show, where him and Stephen Colbert would have segments against each other because they were both Steves, and they were both white guys that look like Lego men, and they would have, and they were both Roman Catholics, so they would. No, that would be the segment. It would be Steve. I can't remember what it's called, but it's something like Steve Off.
Oh, wow.
Wasn't it two Steves?
Yeah, something like that, but it was like Steven and Steven. Steven versus Steven, and it's like one spelled with V, one spelled with PH. But it's like, I found it interesting because Molly Shannon's in this, and she's one of those actresses I feel really sorry for, because she was basically going to be what we now have with Tina Fey and Amy Poehler, the women comedian from Saturday Night Live, who was so talented so much, but she just hasn't really gotten to that point. Like she's always in things. I'm like, hey, it's Molly Shannon. I like her, but she just
I hadn't really heard of her until you brought her up.
Yeah,
she's one of those actresses. Once you look her up, you're like, she's in that. She's in that. She's always that crazy white woman.
Hey, look, Coca-Cola.
Oh yeah.
I know this isn't John dies at the end, but
John Tucker must die.
My mistake. I made the mistake.
Our last episode was John Tucker must die, and you're like, John must die at the end of the other movie. So, God appears in this sequence, and I couldn't help but notice throughout this movie, and maybe this is something that's bad of me, but have we ever noticed how bad Morgan Freeman's teeth are ever? Because in this movie, his teeth are very, very all over the place.
It was the first time I noticed. This movie was what made me realize it. I did not know otherwise. But I guess it's part of his quirk.
Ryan.
He's God. He doesn't have to have perfect teeth.
God is older than toothpaste?
Yeah, that's true. God says you don't have to have straight teeth. Have crooked teeth. It makes eating a pie more interesting. You don't know what part you're going to get.
Don't know what's going to happen. It's exciting.
I'm still thinking about Steve Carell having anal beads on his face.
And he's like, come here, gal. Oh my god.
Australian Steve Carell.
Ryan keeps looking at me and I'm afraid it's I'm the one with the beard.
Bartek,
it's time.
You've got a project to work on next
project
episode.
Yeah, the armpits. That's my project.
Anal beards.
Anal beads? It's one letter away.
No, that's how you market it. Anal beards.
Oh my goodness.
Hi there, it's me, Steve Carell, and I'm offering you anal beards.
See the problem, but then
and again, Steve Carell's listening to this, and all he's heard is You're right. I should have got an Oscar nomination for this movie. He's missing all of this.
Yeah, but then my nose will be really close to bum. And
No,
and
it's
bum's
your
stinky.
Maybe
no.
more
If it's
like-
your beard on your chin, it'll be your chin, but your nose would be away from the
Yeah,
butthole.
that'll be pretty close.
Be more
though.
like
No, it wouldn't.
Gucci area, not actual branded
What?
Gucci.
What? What? Oh, your the butthole wouldn't be near your nose. You would be far away from your nose.
It'd be in that really limbo.
I guess if my beard was
area.
really long, I could be further away.
Yeah, well, no, here's the thing.
That's
Here's the
true,
thing. If
that's
you had a butthole right in
Okay.
front of you, right, and you have them on all fours.
I'm so sorry to everyone who's listening.
You have them on all fours. You stick your chin there, but your nose would be way up in the air, so you would be nowhere near the...
Oh, this is very true. This is
That's
very
what I'm trying to
true.
say. Think about anatomy and geography. Yeah, that's what God
Geography.
wants. Well, the geography. No, the geography.
Human geography, I
Yeah,
guess.
it still works. The geography of
The country of the arsehole. I'll
Geogra-
be over in the land of the back.
Geography is not just knowing countries, mister. It's knowing locations.
Yeah, and land masses and...
Yeah, and the
Forms.
butthole masters.
Oh, why?
Her
Lee.
name's Lorelai. Just why? I'm Caitlin. I'm
we
from
went- we-
Brooklyn.
we
Caitlin,
went
why,
there.
Lee?
Caitlin's just upset they never cast her in The Sopranos while it was on. She's like, "Bada bing, God." It's just, can you imagine The Sopranos but with Caitlin? Like, you know, there's the opening sequence in The Sopranos where they're playing that song and it's like him driving in his
He's
car
like,
smoking a cigar.
I'm like, forget
it's
about it.
It's just Caitlin driving in a car, but she's eating like a whiz fizz or something, like having some whiz fizz or something while driving, and she's like, forget about it.
It's been a while since I've had Whiz Fizz.
I had some yesterday, actually.
See, I do. I do.
I was like, wow.
I didn't even know Caitlin had a
know-
fizzy substance that was whiz fizz, but I assumed.
You know too much.
Her hair looks like whiz fizz. Caitlin's got like pink hair.
Rocking that pink hair at the moment. Yeah. Not
Why
too
don't you
shabs.
get his hairstyle of white and godly?
Maybe
Well-
I should.
Well,
Grow a beard?
God has to give it to you.
Well, Caitlin, you have to pray for something, and then God shall give you white hair.
I mean, I'll give it a good old crack.
Okay, go on, pray now.
No, it's a really intimate kind of thing that me and the big guy gotta, you know.
No, do it now on air. That's how God can only hear it if you
Peer pressure,
if
right?
you broadcast it.
To the hundreds. No. No,
Millions
Ryan-
of people
no.
listening.
Trillions.
Ryan's a big fan of God. He's seen all the God Not Dead films.
Yeah, all three. God's not dead. Number 4. God literally dies. How do they solve this crisis?
Dun, dun, dun.
Boom, boom, boom. So, Bartek, you had seen this film before, but did you remember how the flood actually happened?
Yes, that was one of the things I remembered.
Now, Caitlin, you
Yes.
had not seen this before. Did you think there was actually going to be a flood?
Well, yeah, that's what they implied the whole time. So I was like, it's probably going to happen. It started.
But what happens if it was a
Raining?
metaphorical flood?
Did your...
Well, that's really blew my mind when the wife, Lorelai, when she's like,
Yeah,
it
Lorelai.
could've-
Her name's
it-
Joan.
No, you can call her
You're not a
Laura-
mine. You're
Joan
not a
on
mine.
the-
Okay, okay. Just call it Gilmore Girls.
So Gilmore Girls. No. Well, she did mention that. Like, it could be an emotional flood. It could be. It could
What's
be.
she speaking about?
Yeah, I'm just like, shit.
So-
well,
so ba-
maybe.
So basically the question is, when she was explaining maybe it wasn't a literal flood, did your faith that there would be a literal flood waver?
Yes. Yes. But I was expecting some sort of.
Yeah, something had to happen.
Yeah, something.
Oh, look, it's Ed
The
Helms.
ark gets demolished
'Cause
and they're
I'd be
like,
like-
well, that's that. The end.
Yeah, I was just like, it'd be really fucking shit if he had to build that fucking huge thing and there wasn't any
High-five.
water.
Have you ever high-fived an elephant, Bartek? I mean, you have plenty in your house. You can high-five them.
High fiving all the elephants.
So the report is Ed Helms. We all know him. He's in the Hangover movies.
That's right, yeah.
He's the boring one. He's the one that's like, I don't like having fun. And we're like, I agree, Ed Helms. You should play the Chevy Chase character in the rebooted version of the National Lampoon's Vacation movies. Yay! And also play the reporter in Evan Almighty.
Ow!
Ow!
Yes.
Look at those glasses.
He's great.
He is great. He's a talent. He's our hero.
I'm amazed this monkey is able to pull up those kids.
Monkey
on that-
strength.
Of course.
No, they have superior strength.
Look at
Monkeys, no, they can rip off your face.
Oh, there was
Really?
Baboons can rip off your face.
there was a trivia point
Ah.
about the baboon. I think.
He's
it
got a butt
was-
that's shiny and
It
red.
was related to, I think, the youngest son. There was they had to.
He's
do...
related to the youngest son, the baboon. I knew that kid was a monkey. Look at him. He was just like, that's him. There he is.
Here it comes.
So the trivia point was that they had to do many takes of this one shot of the film where the two guys, the baboon and the kid the brothers, were working together on something, and the baboon naturally got annoyed and went and did its own thing. Eventually, when the kid was like carrying something for another shot, unaware that the baboon was nearby, the baboon like jumped on him and scared the shit out of him.
Oh god! I thought it was gonna be even better. I thought it was gonna be like they had to close set because the baboon had an erection. Because it's a monkey.
Yeah, that shit could happen.
Haha, monkey. Sorry, that was a Super Mario Brothers quote right there for you, in case you were wondering. That was a great quote there from the movie.
Oh, thanks, Ron.
It's what Mario says when he gets the mushroom.
No, it's what Dennis Hopper says in the movie. Haha, monkey. Best line of the movie. Someone wrote that. Someone wrote that for the great
Well,
Dennis
it's very
Hopper
easy-
to
and
read.
everyone
It's
was
very
like,
easy
yes.
very easy to spell.
Haha, monkey. Haha, John Goodman. Great photos of John Goodman, by
All
the
right,
way.
enough with monkeys.
Okay, back to Jonah Hill.
Hey,
Love Jonah.
By the way, he's in this.
Yes.
Jonah of Ark.
Oh, could you imagine if the sequel about his character and just learning to be a suck up to God? he's like, oh God, you're pretty wicked. I know you like your coffee like this.
If I had to be someone, it would be either you or Steve Carell. But I think I pick you.
What's the person he said? He had like two
I
options.
can't remember.
Let's say Bon Jovi.
Let's just say Bartek Kasprzak.
No, he doesn't want to give anal beards. Come on, man. That's not Jonah.
But I was
stuff.
good. I watched this film illegally online.
Oh, okay. It is legally online for you to view at your own leisure, but all right. Illegally is what
Well,
you
it
do.
was probably uploaded by someone illegally.
I think it's on Netflix.
I'm talking about in 2007.
Oh, when you were Bad
There
Boy
we go.
Bartek.
Yeah.
Bad Boy Bartek.
And it's not on Netflix, I checked.
Okay, good boy Bartek, but he still watched it illegally. Bad Boy Bartek again.
Yeah, but I also...
Double Bad Boy Bartek.
but I also watched Bruce illegally.
Oh, triple
Oh.
Bad Boy Bartek.
Here we go.
So have you ever wanted to look like have you ever wanted to look like a biblical character? I've always wanted
Ryan wants to be Goliath.
I want to be Methuselah, damn it.
Which one's Methuselah again?
Oldest man.
You don't want to be old. You're a young boy.
Yeah, but if I'm young him, then I get to be him always. Because I get to live for over 900 years, buddy.
There'll be a lot of podcasts.
What
episodes.
Wow.
What biblical character are you, Caitlin?
I don't know. I haven't
Okay.
read the Bible. I don't know.
You can be Adam's second wife,
Gorgeous. Who's that?
Lilith?
Lilith.
Okay.
You can be Lilith. She appeared in year 1.
Sure. Right.
She all right. Well, let me
take it.
let me get it to you like this. She raised a son that murdered another son.
What are you trying to say?
You're gonna have a son that murders another one,
Oh, right, of course.
and they're gonna be cursed to walk the earth forever, with the mark of God on their forehead. Bartek,
gorgeous.
biblical character, I'm thinking Pontius Pilate.
I want to be the Ark.
Everyone, get in!
Again, Bartek.
Get in my belly!
Again, Bartek and insertion. It's just something
It's
about it.
happening. There's a pattern.
Bartek's like, ooh, got a project on the weekend. Become Ark.
Project number 3.
On the go. So, Bartek, you shared a fun trivia fact about giraffes with me earlier.
Yes,
Ooh, what
I
is it?
believe one of the giraffes bit into the set and left a bite mark, so the people had to fix it.
Of the Ark.
Yeah.
I have a fun fact about giraffes.
They're big, long legs.
They have no natural predator.
Really?
Things that attack them are just by accident or sheer ego, but not in like a hunting term. You don't see
Wow.
like a lion going after a giraffe.
No, they get whacked.
Not really. No, giraffes fucking can kill you real easy with like headbutting you with their like horn thingies or just stomping you.
Not me, I'm too fast.
No, they're really fast, man.
I'm faster.
Can
You're going on safari one day, just see a little Bartek just.
And then a giraffe.
Come here, little shit.
It is not as fast as Wile E. Coyote over here, Caitlin Wiley.
I'm really not fast.
No, Caitlin's
I
really...
don't live up to my name.
You know what? I do recall.
Caitlin's really short, so she's got really little legs, so
I
she
do-
can't run too fast.
I do recall Wile E. Coyote keeping up with the Roadrunner pretty well when he chased him.
Now, I know
ran
that...
out of-
I know that the character I'm going to mention is not a biblical character, but I think
The
I
Roadrunner?
got a character that Caitlin can be. Pingu. The animated penguin.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Caitlin, when I grew up, I 100% thought that Pingu was a show that was in French. I only found out as an adult that it's gibberish.
French.
Yeah.
They're just going newt.
No, not all the time, newt,
Okay.
but like, you know how that's like one of the noises they make, but they make a lot of noises.
Yeah, okay. I was just like
You can tell that they're speaking to one another. I thought
Yeah.
as a kid, oh yeah, French.
newt French.
Well, no, that can be. No, I thought that was like their animal noise.
Right.
Like, you know how sometimes in shows where you have, animals as your characters, and every now and then they will divert to the animal noise. Like, you have a main creature that's like an animal, and then for some reason they will get angry and they'll start barking if they're a dog. Mm-hmm. I thought that's what was happening, because every time they newted, it was usually when they were angry or exacerbated. There's an episode of Pingu where Pingu's like so stressed out because the kettle's going off and his phone's going off, so he decides to sit down on the ground and cry.
Sounds relatable.
That's Caitlin.
I'm like, nah.
Hey, you know they're going to destroy this ark with him still on it, and a million
fucked is
and a
that?
million animals.
Well, they give him time.
Oh yeah, 3 minutes.
But otherwise, they'll forcibly.
Destroy him.
Yeah.
That's why I'd be the
Like God. You want to be destroyed,
People want to destroy me.
but you also have a ton of animals inside of you because you're a furry.
I don't know that. Does that mean my house is a humany?
Yes. The house isn't a human though.
Yeah, but the furry's a person that likes animals.
Yeah, and if you're
The
going
house-
to be an ark with animals inside of you, you're furry, man.
Well, what if I don't like it?
Oh, you want it though. That's what you're just telling me.
That's
I
why
want
you
to be.
exist.
I said I want to be an ark.
Sometimes
Maybe I want to be a rubbish bin. Doesn't mean I want rubbish in me.
Sometimes you can't choose your
Ooh.
kinks.
Well, sometimes I can choose
I'm
to
sure
close
that-
my door.
I'm sure that there's some pedophile sitting there going, I just wish I didn't love kids, but I do. I'm sorry. do you hear them making your argument right now? I mean, yes, but do you care?
But we're talking
Nah.
about maybes. Maybe I want to be an ark that just has a TV in it.
Oh, okay.
Of course.
Then I invite my friends over.
Maybe
and
I
watch.
want to be an ark that's just like a hotel for
Where's
humans.
this going?
Maybe I want to be an ark that's a brothel. You choose.
And then in the middle of the
Yes.
night, I'm like, "How's your stay?"
And they're like, good. You saw, you're the whole ark.
You clearly love your wife.
Now, you know how sometimes when there's going to be a flood, animals sit down?
Is that
Yeah.
a thing? Is that really a thing?
I didn't know. I know that a lot of times when there's a tsunami going to happen,
They just sit down.
no, they run to the hills. So
Right.
if you're somewhere like, a lot of times, like Bali or Indonesia or those places that gets lots of those kind of floods or tidal waves, you can usually tell when all the dogs and elephants and all that start to run to the hills. You know that in the next few hours or days even,
Oh, it's like how
tsunami is going to happen.
Dogs can apparently sense earthquakes or something.
Yeah, so they can sense, the tremors and shifts
Well,
and all
Ryan,
that. Same with elephants.
you
And a
wanna
lot of
know-
animals, birds especially.
You want to
so
know the reason?
I don't know if they just sit down
You want to know the reason why they sit down?
because God told them, sit down.
No.
Good boy.
You can't be knocked off your feet if you're not on your feet.
Ah, and then there's a slug sitting there going, don't have feet.
Oh my goodness, yes.
That's my favorite visual image, I think. Of the episode. Don't have feet. Sassy
Don't
slug.
have feet. It's Wonder.
Wonder Sykes.
It's Wonder.
Wonder slugs.
She's the voice of the hippopotamus in the Madagascar movies.
Really?
Pretty sure.
Love
yeah.
it.
Gloria. I like how you remember her name.
Yeah.
What's her name in this?
Wonder Sykes lady. no, it's Rita. It's Rita.
Rita,
It took you a little bit though. Took you.
get in
So
the
guys,
ark.
would you go in the ark?
Yeah, hell yeah, I want to see what's inside.
I would 100% go to the Ark. Like, what's the worst that's going to happen?
Yeah, fucking yeah. Like
He locks us in and sets it on fire. The worst that could happen.
No, the worst that could happen is probably you get eaten by all the animals.
The
inside.
tiger would insult you.
No. The tiger would insult you, yeah.
It's like, fucking idiot.
I
I'm
hate
from
your
Asia.
pants. What? You're wearing mismatched socks, you idiot, or some shit like that. I'll be like, fuck you. You don't know me.
That's the worst that could happen, Ryan.
You don't know my struggles.
I just am lazy. Can you understand that? You can't because you're an animal. I'm a human. I'm just lazy. I don't wear matching socks.
And the hyena just rolls his eyes.
But Caitlin, you are wearing matching socks.
These are actually 2 different black socks.
Okay. Sure they are, Caitlin.
But, I mean,
Try and
like-
defend your matching socks.
They look the same.
They are.
Well-
I'm calling it now, podcast.
Well, let's show it to a tiger and see what they say.
I don't know if I'm ready for that.
She's been, once been, twice shy. She's not up for tiger interaction. She doesn't fly Tiger
Now,
Airways.
is it a Chinese tiger or an Indian tiger?
It's a zoo tiger.
Well, the country of Zoo, they produce some alright tigers.
I've seen Zootopia. that's a place of its own. So, guys, damn bad. So I've learned that this
cracking.
movie
I don't think
we
this
shouldn't.
movie's damn bad.
I think this movie taught me we shouldn't mess with nature.
That dam is huge and very close to the town.
So you're saying don't build a dam?
Dam's bad. I also was surprised that Jonah Hill's character wasn't already in the Ark, or heck, helped him build the Ark. Wouldn't it
yeah.
be great if he was a disciple? Like he's his disciple and he's like helping him build the Ark. By the way, this is a better Noah story than Russell Crowe's Noah. Remember that movie?
I haven't seen that, sorry.
Well, in the Noah movie with Russell Crowe and Emma Watson,
Where are the giant rock creatures?
apparently fallen angels are literal
Giant
rock
rock
monsters.
creatures. Yep.
Wow.
And also, one of the main problems in the movie is Ray Winstone's character, who's barbaric human guy. You kind of actually understand he doesn't want to die, so let me on the Ark. And he's
Also-
like, no.
Also, Noah's daughter-in-law is pregnant, so he wants to kill the baby.
Oh, well.
He's our main character, by the way.
With
Wow.
Russell, yeah.
Yeah.
Also, God's Anthony Hopkins, I'm pretty sure. Or is it God a small child? No, God's a boy, and he speaks with Anthony Hopkins,
I don't
because
remember
as
that.
you do, Anthony Hopkins is God's relay.
Also, Noah's dad is this like secluded hermit guy on a mountain. He's obsessed with berries.
I think that's Anthony Hopkins.
I think so, yeah.
And he speaks with God.
They come up to him and it's like, oh, we were just collecting berries. Like, oh, berries. I really want some berries. And for
yeah.
the rest of the movie, he's always talking about berries.
I was an Oscar-winning actor once. Berries. I played Hannibal Lecter.
I think he gets,
Exactly.
I think he gets some berries at the end of the film.
Oh, really?
And God flooded him with berries. Was God played by Morgan Freeman in every movie ever? Could you imagine if they re-edited every movie where God appeared and it's just Morgan Freeman? So it's like, yeah, Morgan Freeman's God and everything. And then in generations to come, Christians have the idea that God's face is Morgan Freeman. Like when Morgan Freeman's long and forgotten and they take these texts that we have like this as real religious texts and they see him, they're like, that's God.
Well,
Do you think one day I'll meet Morgan?
well, Ryan, when you think of God, what do you imagine?
Morgan Freeman.
Exactly.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah, what, you don't think woman god? Lady god?
I don't know. I mean, I've just seen so many. Well, when I say so many, it's like Bruce Almighty and this film.
I've met God.
We're best of pals.
He was at the temple. He's a Buddhist.
Mom, what are you doing?
Mom, are you God?
She's like hanging out with like anyway. No, I never really thought about it what God might look like, but if I do try, I'm just like all I really imagine is just Morgan Freeman being like, I'm God.
I've always imagined, I don't know why, I've always compared the image of God to the guy on the $2 coin in Australia, who I think's Aboriginal, so...
So God's Aboriginal is what you're saying.
I guess. So.
I mean, why not?
Amazing.
It's got the word original in it.
I actually never even thought that was an Aboriginal until...
Wow,
someone
is it
mentioned
because it's on a coin? Terrible, Bartek.
Fucking Aboriginals, get off my coins!
Wow, Bartek, we don't want to exclude the Aboriginal listeners.
No, he's joking.
So, oh, I am joking. Yeah,
no, not you,
Bartek.
Bartek.
I grab my wallet. And
I'm joking. Let's exclude them.
do I have any $2 coins?
No, Bartek, don't grab out your $2 coin.
I do have one.
Going.
I do have one.
Thanks.
Oh, you're gonna keep it.
Don't
He owes
keep it.
me
I was just
$2.
showing it to you.
So that is an Aboriginal man, and on the back, the Queen, she's white. In case you
No,
wondered.
that's
In case
the
you were
Queen's
wondering
God.
it.
So, in case you didn't know, Caitlin, the Queen's face has appeared on so many different forms of currency that you can actually make a timeline of her aging through money.
Oh, yeah.
Because we have her
I
as young,
imagine-
but
yeah.
with all the places that are in the Commonwealth with her face on the money, you can make
Like Jamaica.
a montage of her aging through money.
Has someone done that already?
Yes.
Gorgeous.
One day, if you're lucky, you can have that happen to you. I'll make a montage of you aging with your face on money.
I hope I.
It'll be like Monopoly money, but
Well, I hope I age very well until about like 60 and everything just like drops.
well, I can't remember. There was some comedian that's just like, yeah, Asian people age like instantly. Like one day it's like, yeah, they look like they're like 40 years old, and the next day 90 years old.
Yeah, no, seriously.
have
I'm
heard
happy
that,
with
yeah.
that. I'm cool with that.
Oh, there's Molly Shannon. Bye, Molly.
So yeah.
Oh, Eve Adams. Hey, if we called her number, could we get her real estate?
Maybe. I don't know. Try it.
Hello.
Hi, Eve. I'm looking for some real estate.
Oh, you called the right gal.
No, Eve. I'm a single white female
Here we go.
and a lawyer. And I want to buy a 3-story house in Washington, D.C. What can you do for me? Hook me up. Money's irrelevant. I'm a single white female lawyer.
Awesome. Let me find the most expensive. Just a moment.
Yay!
Gala.
And then it's just Wanda Sykes' house. Like, literally, we know she's actually the president in this movie. Like, we don't know who the president is. We never see Obama. Because this is before him, so it would be actually George W. Bush Jr.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god. This movie... Think about this, Caitlin.
Mm.
This movie had the audacity. Maybe this is why it failed.
Mm.
I don't... This is... Oof,
Let's do it.
it's getting dark. But
Let's
this
go.
is a post 9/11 movie. And this movie ends with giant destruction in a major city.
Mm.
Could this be too soon?
But the White House, I think, is all right.
That's not the White House.
I know it's not, but I think we didn't
Oh
see
yeah,
it get
but
destroyed. We didn't
this-
even see the big spy, I think, get destroyed.
No, they're all fine. But it's still like destruction in a major
Yeah,
metropolitan area after 9/11.
Might be a bit sensitive.
Ooh, too soon. Too soon.
Well,
I mean, we
no.
can laugh about it now, 9/11, right? Haha, but
Ryan. Stop it.
Well,
my
the original...
my dad's birthday is on September 11th. I can make as much
bless.
fun of his birthday as I want.
Oh my
He's
goodness.
old
Well,
now.
remember, in the original version of the script, everything in the world was going to get destroyed.
So it would have been a big 9/11 reference.
Just on like a side
Well, it'll be
note.
September
Yeah,
22.
yeah. Side note.
Oh, sorry, because we're watching this scene's happening at the moment where all the animals get off the ark, but they didn't travel very far.
No, they're traveling all like they're waiting for this scene to stop where the wolves of that are men, especially that one. He has a real angry face. Say we don't like you, John Goodman, and
Current
then
vice president.
you know, yeah, and then we can look at Laura. A lot of close.
Hey, that was the one that...
You are.
The middles.
No, I'm the big one.
Oh, Caitlin's a little one.
Ah, there we go.
Now you know. Bears, lions, and
was smiling 'cause
tigers.
all the
Oh
penises are
my.
saved.
See, lions, bears, tigers. Oh my, tigers, bears, and lions. Wizard of Oz reference, maybe.
Where are the mechanical animals?
You saw Steve Carell. If you found out Steve Carell was an animatronic from Disneyland that escaped
You know, Ryan,
an actor, would you
not
be
be
surprised?
No.
You know what, Ryan?
What?
So, we talk about 9/11 and how this is...
I have heard about
and
it.
how this is worse than 9/11.
Yeah.
Well, the idea of the whole world being flooded is worse than 9/11. If we were to say that it was twice as bad as 9/11 and consider the date of the in the film, it would be 9/22, which is double 11.
Oh, Bartek really thought about that.
Damn.
Maybe the film thought about that. You know what? Let's give it to the film. Come on, guys. Good job, filmmakers. You thought about 9/11 twice.
Damn.
damn as... What are you doing?
I'm giving it to the film.
With your anal beards?
With your anal... I can't. Oh,
I mean,
it's gonna scar me for life.
You can. You really can. You brought it up.
I know, but it's just really...
So it's your fault.
Why?
Because God created anal beards. And the next commandment is anal beards. As Morgan said.
You're going to re-edit the film? We got a new commandment.
Anal beards.
Thou shalt do the anal beards.
I bet there's a
All could be
point.
edited in.
I bet that there's lines of dialogue from Morgan Freeman in his movies where he said anal and beards. So I could audio edit him to say anal beards. And the music's different in the background.
You can find just every individual letter.
Anal
beards.
It's like there's this Australian comedian who got all the voice sampling of a racist politician, Pauline Hanson, and made songs about her. Like there's the one about like Pauline Pants Down is his name for her character, and he did like the song about her loving like counting numbers. and like love
numbers.
like and wanting to get a blood transfusion because her blood needs to be white.
Oh my gosh.
All that kind of stuff. Or there's one where she's talking about like how she loves gay people because she got hit on the head one day.
Oh my gosh.
Do that with Morgan Freeman.
Me?
Yeah, you
Okay.
Project number 4.
snap onto it. Come on, Ark.
I have to become an Ark first.
Now can we all dance now? For you listening at home, which is everyone.
I mean, I was dancing earlier, but I wasn't making
We're
sound.
dancing.
Remember, this is an
Fun
audio
fact,
podcast.
Caitlin's a professional dancer. No.
I was like,
I'm kidding. Caitlin's one of the most unskilled dancers I've ever met in my life.
Yeah. Like, I'm okay with that.
I
Pretty
would watch
shite.
a one-woman show of Caitlin saying that she's a dancer, and it would just be a comedy show of you dancing like a modern dancer, and then you just play music that's inappropriate. No, instead of playing music, you just play an audiobook over it. So it's like Harry Potter read by Stephen Fry as you're doing interpretive dance. That would be the
Yes.
greatest comedy show, and it'll be called Caitlin Dances. It's
Yeah.
very simple.
Well, I thought I was a good dancer before until someone told me that I wasn't a very good dancer. And I
Was
like,
that
okay.
me? I told you now. Again, laughing, guys. It's okay. She's not crying. God, Morgan Freeman, you're right.
Mhm. He gets to do white people dancing.
Do you reckon the people behind the camera are like, can you just dance real quick just for like the after credit bits? And they're all like, okay.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened. Hey, look, they have a delivery guy.
I wish it was
I'm
like
glad someone, played the delivery guy. Now, is that a real monkey?
I don't know. It looks
Dancing
like
Yeah,
shit.
does it not look like a monkey?
Are those real elephants?
Of course. Didn't you see how they were
Is that
systematically shaking
Oh, sorry,
their
that
heads?
guy dancing just a moment ago was like, was that Crispin Glover? The dad from Back to the Future? Now, if anyone randomly turned up in a behind-the-scenes featurette of a movie they weren't in, it would be Crispin Glover. 100%. Crispin Glover would totally walk in and be like, hello, it's me.
And yeah, not just like subtly in the background, like actually
No,
working.
he'd be sitting there as like someone they interview talking about the movie, and it's like, "Are you in it?" Oh, no, I'm not.
Just matter of fact about everything. No, I'm not. But you see, the film was a really great experience for everyone. And
Steve had a fun time. So before we get into our reviews and ratings, I do want to mention one thing about Crispin Glover. There's this phenomenon of Crispin Glover where he played this weird character who wore like this really absurd long-haired wig and goofy glasses and like this shocking like 1970s platform shoes and tight pants and all this, and he had like a weird independent movie made about him, but it was like for a while there he would be just appearing in music videos as this character and then releasing an album as this character in which you had to solve a puzzle to listen to it and like all this crazy stuff, and then he would always never admit that it was him. He's like, I have no idea what you're talking about, like, to this day. And then one of the biggest YouTube videos to blow up when YouTube first started was him driving around LA as this character and refusing to admit from today that that was him. Crispin Glover's an interesting man. All I'm saying, interesting man. Now, was this an interesting film? I'm going to give my review and rating, and I'm going to begin.
we're going to be surprised by what Ryan has to say.
Here we
Best
go.
film ever made.
What?
I know.
What about John not dies at the end? John Tucker must die.
I know this film didn't have Paul Giamatti in it either, so it's no Big Fat Lie or Thunderpants. But
Was Jaleel White at least in it?
No, but they
Oh.
did mention Kareem Abdul-Jabbar at one point, so he's a basketball player, so close. This film was great, but if I could describe it with another word, it would be legendary. And if I want to use another one, extraordinary. And a bunch of adjectives.
What
and
about a
describe-
certain A word, Ryan?
Awesome.
With an L at the second letter.
Awesome.
Nice.
Exactly. I was thinking almighty, but that's even better.
I was saying it with my Jersey accent.
Almighty.
Awesome.
Awesome.
God, awesome.
Wow, that was awesome.
And there's some poor guy from Jersey listening to this being like, God, I don't sound like that. That's not awesome. And that man's name is Steve Carell. So, yep, this film was pretty good. I enjoyed the characters. I love seeing John Goodman turn up playing a villain role. You gotta love Steve Carell. He dedicated himself to the role wholeheartedly, even though his characterization of the character of Evan is different to his characterization of him in the first Bruce Almighty. He makes it his own. It shows you back in 2007 that he could be a leading comedic actor. Like, he can hold his own. He is a legend. Like, we look at him now, and we may take for granted how much of a legend he is, but he's really had to take a long time to get to that point. I mean, you know, Anchorman, The Legend of Ron Burgundy, today is seen as a comedic classic, but when it came out, and for years, it took ages for it to get to that point.
Yeah.
And that's one of his most appreciated movies. In
Lorelai
terms,
David.
Yeah, related to Keith. So, I think it's great that he got a shot like this, even though this didn't make its money back or flopped or whatever, most expensive comedy. I think it showed that he had the stamina and the attraction to be a leading comedic actor and hold his own with the greats. I would give this film a rating out of Steve Carell's left nipple being beautiful, out of Steve Carell's right nipple being equally beautiful.
But one's 4 inches higher, so...
Yeah, just 4 inches higher, but it's equally beautiful.
It's all.
Caitlin, let's hear from you.
Oh, jeez Louise, guys. I mean, I haven't seen this film before prior to you telling me to watch it and coming on to this podcast. And I have been pleasantly surprised. It is a stunning piece of work. And I would have to rate this film one whole anal beard. Not a quarter, not a half, a whole.
She puts the whole beard in.
Oh my gosh, no!
She puts the whole... Now, careful. Just like anal beads, when you pull them out, it's not like a lawnmower. You have to be gentle with that shit. Because shit may literally come out. So...
I mean, unless you want it to.
Unless that's your thing.
I think...
Caitlin's implicating herself,
I'm
so...
not judging anyone that would want to get shit
Everyone,
everywhere.
She's speaking into a mirror while she says this. I'm not judging anyone.
Got my little
everyone,
compact
please thank Ryan for sharing his experiences.
like, there we go.
Bartek, love to hear from you.
Could you say my name properly? It's Bartek.
Okay. Anal beard tech. Could you tell us about your views on the film?
I'm offended, but yes. This...
Yep.
That's what I said, yeah.
Yep.
This film was pretty good, yeah. I liked it. In fact, I would dare say...
It was pretty good.
Review rating? Yeah.
Yeah, right, why not?
Yeah, I was like,
This film
Yep.
was pretty good. I thought that it was actually pretty and good. In fact, I would dare say it was amazing and almighty.
oh,
And also awesome.
ow.
You're stealing that from me.
Ryan, when I die, please replace me with Caitlin.
I would happily
Could we
oblige.
replace everyone with Caitlin, including Caitlin?
Hey.
I would not replace Caitlin.
No, she's irreplaceable.
Oh, I love you guys.
So is that your rating? Caitlin is irreplaceable.
I can't give my rating without finishing my review.
Oh, sorry. I thought you were
Alright,
good.
here
I
we
thought you
go.
said it was pretty good.
Yep.
and awesome. Bada bing.
Forget about it.
If you are not Christian and you may even not like Christianity. You might walk into this ready to slam on the Christianity, but I think that if you walk in with an open mind, you will learn new perspectives about the world, about life, about people. And I like people. This film is a good film for people and about people.
I am also a person.
I am also a people.
I like a people. Now get inside of me, for I am a people arc.
So if you guys walk by an ark named Bartek, just,
You know
Just
who it
slide
is.
on in.
don't walk away. Walk towards, and if I open the door, just come on in. Well, I've got a TV.
Yeah, come on in.
Sorry, I'm reviewing my new establishment. This film, Evan Almighty, is fantastic. It'll teach you things. It'll make you laugh and smile. Too many films pick only one or the other.
How
This
do you
film
laugh without smiling, though? I wish everyone could see this.
You just do an O face laugh.
I started smiling towards the end.
You both look so terrified right now.
I'll kill you with my laugh.
I'm uncomfortable.
This film is great. Arcs are great. Bible's alright. And I think that this film is worth an anal beard out of an ark's ass.
Love it.
Now, here's the interesting thing. Here is the interesting thing.
Yeah.
Bartek has collected some comments and reviews from the internet.
Ooh,
What?
okay.
I
Comments from YouTube and a review or two from IMDb. Is that correct?
Alright, cut the episode here. Alright, we're back, and I'm going to now read out the comments and the review that I prepared before the episode, that I
good.
totally didn't just collect right now. Why are you guys laughing?
No, not laughing. Go on.
Are you trying to imply something?
No.
Implications are for pansies.
Mm-mm.
I'm not a pansy.
You're not implicating anything.
I know.
But you are implicating that you're a pansy.
No, I'm not.
So you're a pansy.
I'm not.
I'm literally about to card.
Hear that? Caitlin can't. She's now Cantlin.
Would you say that you cannot even?
I literally cannot even.
OMG, that stands for Oh My Gregory.
Caitlin's got all the accents. But for
Bada bing.
seriously, for shizzle, I've got some comments from YouTube and a review from Imbid.
So get ready, because
My-
you're about to get served
My
from the
existence
internet.
is ready to be served.
The comments are from the official trailer for Evan Almighty.
Good, good, good.
The first comment from YouTube is the longest one of the few that I've compiled.
Great.
The funniest thing about this film is the epic straw man it tries to pull. It's a movie that seems to be set in a parallel alternate America where no one believes in God, and
Yeah.
all the, in brackets, horrible, naysayers mock Steve Carell's Noah character for having faith. There's even a scene where the rain stops and a man yells out, "Where's your God now?" And the neighborhood laughs along with him.
Yeah.
It's funny because I wonder if the producers ever actually visited a real suburban American neighborhood or turned on TV to see the kinds of people in Congress. These places are full of religious nuts, and even if they're not nuts, they're still with one L, 90% moderate churchgoers. If someone actually single-handedly built an ark, everyone would be calling him a legend and an inspiration.
Everyone.
Apparently not in this movie's reversed universe, they don't.
Everyone.
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 Every single.
You and I would be calling him it right now.
1 trillion
I
percent.
didn't
everyone.
include them, but they had a lot of responses.
Everyone. Everyone responded. we were all there. We all remember saying, legend. Legend.
And inspiration. The next comment is, this movie was more better told than Noah. Yes, Noah was a carpenter and that was true, but rock giants? Seriously, if you're going to reference the Bible, do it right. No Lord of the Rings nonsense.
You're right. Take a lesson, Darren Aronofsky.
Again, I didn't include the responses, but there were people quoting the Bible saying, like, well, the rock giants were references to this.
Darren Aronofsky, get your shit straight. Watch Evan Almighty next time.
Check yourself before
This-
you wreck yourself, love.
The
Nice.
love made it. This next comment does have a response that I included.
Well, good.
The initial comment is, this movie is about women. Low IQ, and she will leave you in no time, but once another man, of course, puts some sense inside her head, she realizes she made a mistake and comes back.
Oh my
That's-
gosh.
That's women for you.
Oh,
The response is,
What I'll bring.
hell.
this comment is about shitheads who find hidden meanings in Steve Carell comedies.
There's someone out there who's just really pleased with themselves with that comment.
The next comment is, lol, we watched this in school today. It was Aswome.
What?
Aswome.
A what?
Asswome.
It's awesome, but they spelled it ASWOME. Aswome.
It was Aswome.
Asswome, lol.
What is that, Jersey for awesome?
No, that was awesome.
No, awesome. Oh yeah, awesome. Maybe that's Brooklyn.
Man, we're really covering a lot of these comments in our episode.
Yeah.
The next one is, arc means act of random kindness.
Got it.
And the response from a username called Bro Dude Man.
Bro, dude, man.
Are you a dude, man?
So the initial comment, arc means act of random kindness, and Bro Dude Man responds with, it's a boat.
That's bro, dude, man.
Sting. he got taken down a peg.
You got broed!
Dude.
Man.
That could be like our trio catchphrase. I say bro, you say dude, you say man.
And then we're an a cappella group.
Yeah.
I have
Bro,
a
dude,
final YouTube comment before IMD.
Okay, give me and
Movie was referenced on Family Guy tonight. Something about a turkey. This site will get a bunch of hits tonight. I guess I'm the only guy who saw Family Guy tonight when his wife's out of town.
What the fuck?
did you not,
Cool.
now, did you not see that episode of Family Guy where they referenced Evan Almighty?
Yeah, the turkey.
The turkey episode. Classic turkey Family Guy.
We're getting into IMDb now.
Okay,
Let's
this
do
is the
this
big
then.
dog territory. This is where you make it or break it.
The review's title is, can't emphasize this enough. ... Terrible. This is from the 15th of February 2008. 2 out of 10 stars.
Wrong.
Warning spoilers.
Spoilers, guys, in case you haven't seen the movie. We're going to be getting into some serious spoilers. You've had over 10 years to get ready for this.
The only way I can feel good about having handed over these precious minutes of my life is every day telling someone how awful it was. And even if I say it once a day, every day for the rest of my life, I will not fully get my point across. Just dumb.
Wow.
There's a difference in movies like this and movies like Elephant or Fat Guy Goes Nutsoid. 2 of my other least favourite movies.
I've never heard of them.
Is this Satan?
The
Yes, it is I.
the latter 2 were terrible, yes, but that was that. Evan Almighty takes a strong cast and attempts to kill them all. Wanda Sykes, Jonah Hill, John Goodman, and Steve Carell. Why, God, why? All these people have much better talent. Now, every time I see any of them, I will think of this terrible movie.
I mean,
The
Michael C.
only-
Higgins, screw him, but like, whatever.
The only reason I gave this a 2 instead of a 1 was when I saw the movie, there was a mentally challenged elderly woman who thought the barrage of bird poop and getting hurt by tools while building jokes was so funny that she didn't stop laughing the other time, nearly stroking out several times.
So he gave this a 2-star rating because a mentally challenged woman found it funny.
And nearly stroked out, apparently.
Okay, I know who that was. Caitlin.
Shit, he knows.
Shit, he found out. Well, thank you,
Oh,
Bartek. Those were gorgeously wonderful and positive.
And
Yeah.
awesome.
Awesome.
Or Aswome.
That's Brooklyn talk. We're only Jersey
yes.
boys
Bada
here.
bing.
Bada bing. Clint Eastwood's Jersey Boys if it was done by Caitlin. Awesome.
Awesome.
So, Caitlin, it was wonderful to have you on. It's been so long. We haven't seen you since The Stepford Wives.
I
You know,
know.
Nicole Kidman's had a new face since then. So,
Oh,
yeah.
great.
Bartek, as always,
We haven't seen me since John Tucker Must Die.
must I? John Tucker mustache. So you've been great. You've been very fun. Thank you for being a great co-host, Ryan. You've done a good job too. I'm really proud of you.
Stop it.
Oh, okay. You guys at home have been fantastic, amazing, wonderful, superfluously stupendous listening people as always. If you want to support the show, well, you know what you do. Just share us around like a disease. Spit and Polish presents. Share us. Tell your friends. Hey, get a pet to listen. I want to hear their thoughts. Bark. Do they give it a bark or meow?
Wait, no, but Ryan, I demonized animals earlier this episode.
It's okay. God was in the movie. He blessed them.
Oh, okay.
So, as always, you guys have been great. You can find Spit and Polish Presents on many platforms. iTunes. Hey, give us a review on iTunes. It always helps out. Wink, wink, nudge,
Give
nudge.
us comments anywhere you can.
On Facebook, YouTube,
review,
Spotify, all of those
comment,
things.
opinion,
Or not.
criticism.
Don't want to force
My dancing.
Don't want to force it. But
Dancing is
Spit and Polish Presents. You can find us in many places to listen to and give us feedback or whatever. So, yep.
And don't steal our ideas.
Pretty good.
Don't steal our anal beard idea.
That's a copyright.
And don't
Trademarked.
become an arc until I do.
Okay. So
heard it here
remember
first.
to always be kind to each other randomly in an act of.
So that's kind random actor.
Oh, you
Cra. That's a cra.
Remember don't be a cra.
Noah's cra.
Oh, thanks for having me, you guys.
No problem.
You're
Bartek,
welcome.
you want to leave us with some biblical words of wisdom to depart off this podcast coil?
Yeah,
Yes.
I do.
Okay.
Dude, I think the coolest thing in the Bible was the end of Matthew.
What happened?
You see what happened at the end of Matthew was all the disciples were up on the mountain. Jesus had died, and this is Sunday,
Oh, that's
Easter
sad.
Sunday, fun fact.
Oh,
And then
good.
Jesus appears, and he's like, I died, but now I'm immortal.
And did Thomas say, don't believe you?
Thomas said, don't believe you. John said, I believe you. And who else is there? Bartholomew said, my name is the Western Bartek.
And then freaking Judas had some shifty eyes going on, like, oh jeez.
I don't know why. I don't know why Judas turned up. I thought he was chased by a tank.
Oh yeah, of course. As always, why that one is the one you want to leave us off on? Why is that the story you want to leave on?
Because it's fully sick.
You stole my line.
It's rock and roll. As fuck.
Do you want me to give a different biblical line then?
No.
God made man and woman, and then they started having sex, and he was like, "Oh, it does work out."